Massenomics. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Right. You wish.
Is that your...
Years, I feel like you should have brought tape measures so we could just
Do that on camera.
Have a lad off.
It is fucking
have
hot.
a lad off.
It is hot.
I told you we should have gone to the kitchen. Nobody listens to me.
We all know.
It's too late.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Massenomics podcast. I am joined here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. To my right is Richard Aceves.
Is that where we are?
And across the way is Julien Pineau. Collectively, they are Strongfit.
Strongfit.
I have spent the last, what has it been now? 6 days? We're doing the we did the seminar over the last weekend, and then I did. We're in the midst of the coaches week this week, which has been a pretty eye-opening with my lack of athleticism and all of the
internal torque.
Yeah.
and all of the things that I don't know.
He has internal torque. He has no external torque.
Honestly, I don't think I have torque.
Well, you had external torque on the sandbag today. I can tell you that.
I do want to start with where we left off last time. We heard from Julien, which was we were in Encinitas, California.
Yes, we were.
I feel like I was about the luckiest person in the world. Richard had lined up. Julien was coming back in from Canada, had made it into the United States for about an hour, had this teeny little narrow window. You guys were generous enough to line all that up. And then Julien comes to pull up to park in front of my Airbnb, and there's a fucking parade in town. So there's like out of the blue, there's nowhere to park.
That's awesome.
At all. And so Julien pulls up and he's like, "Oh, I'll go find somewhere." And it's what, a half hour before you get back?
Yeah. Yeah. So I found a place to park, and the car stayed there for a while. Let's put it this way.
And it was a truck, which me from the Midwest, I go, "Well, don't you have four-wheel drive?"
Right.
No,
And he said,
not
"No.
in California.
Apparently in California you don't need four-wheel drive because it never snows."
I did that time, but so I got stuck.
So, last time we left, we had to go out, and I kind of thought it was going to be like, a fun little, we'll just rock it out of there. But it was like,
Oh, fuck yeah.
fuck,
Took us an hour.
I don't think I've ever seen a truck that buried, not in snow.
Did you
No,
just floor it or something? Why'd you get so?
No, because I had to find. I parked it in a place and I couldn't backtrack, so I went forward. But then it was in the dark because it's at nighttime, right? And we were in those kind of weird,
It was like
the
flower
sand dunes.
bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sand dunes. So this, and
It was like seaweed on the ground. It was really weird, rubbery
and
shit.
so like the truck got pinned weird, and then the wheel started spinning, and then there was not coming out of it. Like it was not moving. So we had to rock back and forth, go backwards. I couldn't go up the hill, so we have to go. That took an hour.
There was a whole thing.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
For a second there, I was like, shit.
yeah, you were like this one little quick, maybe not so inconvenient stop off turned into like a whole night burner. So
I wanted to save 5 minutes on the parking, and then I lost about an hour and a half. Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for joining us that last time, even though that turned out to be a whole bunch of shit. But let's talk about this week. I got to have my first actual experience of doing the sled right.
Yes.
I had always messed around with it and never got like the load, the intensity, like all of that stuff. We tinkered with it, and sometimes it was too light, and you'd go. Maybe it wasn't too light. We just weren't going hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always
just
it, I
go
guess.
faster. Trust me.
Yeah.
It'll put more weight on the sled.
And so then we put way more weight. We've done the sled with 400 pounds, but then you're doing
slow as
you're
shit,
doing a totally different thing
either,
too.
Yeah.
And I never had like an awesome time doing the sled, but when we did it, we did all this other shit first. It was, what was it? We did some bag carry, we did some
Yeah, it was a
some
sandbag carry,
drags,
sled drags, and
the rope pulls.
and the rope pulls. So I already was like sick and sort of terrified, and then we all line up the sleds, and I was like, oh fuck! Like
The good thing was like 5 people went before you, so you had the time to get really nervous about it.
Yeah. Well, also
I could see you getting confidence as they went. That was great. Yeah.
Also, though, I was really tired still.
How did you feel among those skinny people though?
Awful.
Because you're like 8 inches, about 100 pounds heavier than everybody.
Yeah, it was well, that's what I'm used to at CrossFit for sure, though. Like that's but that thing, I got going on it. Aside from
And the fit people dying in front of you did not make you feel
yeah,
any better
because
about it.
I told Julien ahead of time. I said, you know, if I just sprinted, if we left the sled here, and I sprinted to that stop sign and back,
I'm
all
dying.
out, like
I'm not making that.
like
yeah,
that-
it's like
that-
I'm not making it, man.
yeah, like that fucked my whole world up. Can we just do that? And the answer was no.
No.
But
So at least pushing, you have something to hold on to, so it makes it.
I could lean on it. So I got going, and
You did good on the first part.
I got
You
strided
nailed
out.
that first way
I
there.
strided
man.
out, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Those
I was
7
like,
seconds, man. Ooh.
I said, Jesus, like maybe this is a body weight thing. Like maybe I'm just a ringer. Or you get into it like maybe I'm some sort of sled pushing savant.
Exactly.
You know?
That was on the way there, though.
And
That was not the
and
feeling
I'm-
on the way back.
But I'm dead serious that crossed my mind as I'm going up. Not so bad.
This is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is
And I
everybody
get
dying?
Famous last
I get
words.
almost to the end, and I swear to God that sled just started like digging in to the concrete.
Oh, he has a mind of
Who's
its
putting
own.
the brakes on this shit?
Yeah. Did you just add weight when I wasn't looking or something? Yeah.
But then I have this awful feeling, like your whole body's just on fire. Everything sucks. All you want to do is stop. And I'm thinking pretty hard about stopping. And
Yeah.
then I see out of the corner of my eye,
Yeah.
Julien comes. I won't even use the word walking towards me. He's like lurking.
Well,
like-
I could tell where this was going. I was like, no, you're not stopping.
And
Yeah.
You should
I
have videotaped it.
and I was like,
Yeah, we
I
should have.
fucking can't. I can't stop now
No,
because
that was
Julian's
the point.
gonna fucking kick my ass.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got to the end and everything was awful. But what was interesting is before I went, all these very fit people, they would come back and they would finish and they would be white.
Yep.
And I didn't
Ur.
realize that was a thing. Like totally.
This is CrossFit, so white
The
White
whiter,
ur,
yes. But like totally pale. Like they'd have just drained their face of blood.
I know a big threshold. That's how I know you went there. 'Cause
Yeah.
Your forehead will turn completely white. I had black guys, like their forehead turns white.
Really?
Gray. Yeah. That's a very, very specific sign.
Yeah.
And so if you're not there, I know.
That's how you know.
I know.
We had like there was an Asian dude
Yep,
that was
same
so
thing.
white when he
Yep.
came across that thing. So white. And to where I was like, I didn't know to expect that. So I was like a little concerned for his well-being.
And then the cramping started.
Yeah, and then so you have just people like pale as shit moaning. Nobody threw up. Did anyone throw up?
They
Not
usually
on
go in the
this
back.
one.
I didn't see.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
so.
didn't see anybody in this
But
one.
there was a lot of like, I was the same way. You're like, you don't know what to be mad at. You're just mad at everything.
You're mad today.
I was fucking mad today. Should we talk about that today?
I mean, what happened?
Okay, so no. So this is what it's been like.
Uh-huh.
I have no.
Here comes the excuse.
I'm not making excuses.
Uh-huh.
I have no. I'm not delusional about my athletic ability at all. I've always said I'm just big. I'm neither strong nor athletic or anything.
Right.
But I have spent all week going, fuck, I suck at this, and it's like, fuck, I suck at that. It's like exactly when I first started at CrossFit. That's what it was. Is I would come in and I'd be like, I'm bad at this, and I'm getting beat by housewives at this,
Right.
and everybody's kicking my ass.
It's always good for you.
And yeah, totally, whatever peg I thought I was on knocked me way down. But this week has been, it's like every single thing is a thing where it's like, oh, I can't get it. You know what I mean? You're just like,
Right. It
I
takes
don't get it.
practice.
But today we did a bunch of like external torque work, and then it was grab the bag, not even a heavy bag, light bag. I had an 80-pound bag,
Yeah.
take it around the track, and I get out the building, walk the wrong way first because I followed the wrong guy, and then turn around, and all of a sudden my back is just like full of blood, and you can't lift your feet up, you can't stand up,
Yeah.
and Julien and Richard are like, "What the fuck is your problem?" Like, and I'm like, "I don't know."
But
Pick
that
up
was
the
it.
like,
Yeah,
drop the
you
fucking
didn't make it
bag
5
already.
meters. Even after me saying that, you still didn't make it.
No, I
make it
didn't.
past 5 meters.
Yeah, it was crazy. You want to describe what was going on? Because I only know that I felt
Horrible.
pain, not
Yeah.
pain like injury pain, but like just muscle, almost just intense muscle failure.
Yeah, you're very, very close to cramping. What happens is that happens when you freak out, like you activate the sympathetic nervous system, and so that triggers your lumbar spine erectors, right? And once you've done into that freak out zone, it's very, very hard to shut it up. So then your lumbar spine erectors start to activate harshly, let's put it this way, and then they're never going to let go. So once you have the weight like that, you're loading it through those erectors like continuously, and so you just can't go anywhere. Taking a step means one side takes over. You go back and forth. Once you get to that stage, you're done. There's no coming back.
Yeah, there was literally nothing.
Yeah, and so then you went into basically a spasm, right?
Yeah.
And then so your lumbar spine erectors are just fully contracted without ever letting go. It's like a spasm if you're without the pain, but that means like full of blood, and then they just won't let go.
Yeah.
And so you can't walk anymore. Like that's
Yeah.
a shut-off mechanism where your body's like, nope, you're not going there, dude.
What was that protecting me from?
I can't say I can't say it on air, but you know that stage at puberty when you start to grow that thing and your voice changes? Yeah,
That was it? Yeah, I didn't want to turn into a man
Yeah,
just
there
yet.
you go.
Yeah.
I knew it. But
No,
no, that
because
was,
you went there, you freaked out.
yeah.
Once you freak out, it's a normal response. You go to our sympathetic nervous system, then you
Yeah.
go to our external torque, and then it activates that fucking erectors in the lumbar spine. Once you freaked out, you're done.
And it seems like that's actually like at least with like CrossFit workouts, is that's actually what training is like for me.
Yeah, like a lot of people, but once your back blows up, like you'll notice you're not coming back. Like
Yeah.
you have to stop working on that.
Well, I get
It's
that.
yeah.
I got that when I first started CrossFit and I was really fat. Like everything I would do, even like trying to squat to a box and stuff like that, I'd be like blown up before we'd do anything, you know.
Right.
That's probably just from moving like an asshole.
Yeah, if you have the incorrect movement. But again, like the key with the sandbag is if you can go into it with the right mindset, which is to wait, like flow state,
Yeah.
internal torque, so external obliques and everything, you can stay there. But if you go into it going, oh shit already,
Yeah.
and then you load the bag high on your stomach so you feel that you're going to breathe better, but that loads your lumbar spine. And then suddenly those erectors, it feels good for about 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And then your erectors go into that phase of basically just locking out, and that's it. So it feels good for 6 seconds, and then you're going to die.
And what's interesting, when we met last time, I didn't know, like I said today, I had used the tools and been using them the wrong way the whole time, basically, from the sandbag squats to the carries to
You seem
the
to
sled
have
to everything.
done exactly the opposite on everything.
On literally
Yeah.
everything.
But it's nice to see you watch my
I mean,
other podcasts and videos.
At
Yeah,
least
that's
you did
nice.
grace with a 180-pound sandbag.
Which
That's
is
impressive.
exactly
took
the,
16
the
minutes, but that was
desired
good, yeah.
response for that
Yeah.
workout, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So, hey, you only got the 180-pound bag. That was for
you
Instagram.
do.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was. It's like Cindy with a squat.
Did you do one rep and just put it on repeat for 30 times?
Yes. No.
Did you fake dying at the end?
No, that was fucking real though. That was real. But no, it's been very interesting this week. There's been a lot. I don't get into any of this stuff, assuming that I have any sort of expertise. So we just kind of get into it. Everything we do here at Massenomics, we're just kind of dudes out there trying to learn some shit. And
That's a good way to go at it.
this,
though.
yeah, I coach, and now I'm like, man, what the fuck was I thinking even trying to coach at this point? Because you get to a point where you always feel,
I mean, I've said the same thing.
yeah, where now you're like, man, I don't know anything. God damn
I've
it.
said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where has changes been like that? Maybe for both of you guys, what has it been where you've had these moments where you're like, oh Jesus, what have I been doing this whole time?
That's every 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Seems
yeah.
like that, right?
It sucks because I get to like 99% done with the project that he wants to do, and then out of nowhere he's like, so I was at the gym today, and you see when you start pressing, you start doing this, and you start
Yeah.
doing that, he starts writing shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
Scratch everything. Start
Let's do
over.
it again. Yeah. It's like, so I did that thing, and then this happened, and okay, well, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest change was I was in my honeymoon, and then he's like, hey, I have some really cool stuff. I can't wait to see you when we're in Australia. And so he shows up in Australia, and he just like shows me this map, and it's the body, and he has it painted in yellow and red.
Right, that's
And
true,
I'm
yes.
looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, so they're like the ET muscles and the IT muscles. He's like, yeah. Then I look at the primary function of each of the muscles, and I'm like, all the ITs are eccentric and isometric, and all the ETs are concentric. He's like, now go look at Klokov, and I was like, that's all ET. He's like, go look at a powerlift, a strongman. I was like, that's all IT. He's like, and I was like, huh.
Huh.
I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, no, there's a gap.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly,
like-
yeah.
And that's why I start going through like CrossFit, and I start going through every single sport and every single movement. And you're like, fuck, that makes so much sense. And then I start going back to, before I was coaching and before I started just following methods blindly. And you're like, every time that I trained how it felt good follows exactly what's going on right here. And every time that you look at, Eddie Cohen, you look at, Dorian Yates.
But even Dorian Yates versus Schwarzenegger,
Yeah,
it was that, and then the way they train.
like it
One
all
was
made
super
sense.
heavy. It was
It was crazy. So I think that was a huge change for us that happened in the last 5 months. When we were in
it was, and
Australia
then the nervous system.
yeah.
Then
Well, that was huge.
then I started going to that. That's when
That was
for
deep.
me the biggest click, I guess, was that one. The
Yeah.
nervous system, because I was like, but that can't be. That can't be that. We can't control the human being like that much just like that, right? You can't. It was a weird, almost psychological moment for me because I was like, is it possible that we are that not easy to control, but that programmable, that we can really program the nervous system just based on certain actions? And they talk about it a lot for breathing and stuff like that. But I was like, to the level at which I was capable of doing on myself, right?
Yeah.
Going to the gym, I could really program certain things. Like how? What's that noise?
That's a weed whacker
Where is it?
behind you.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
So he waited for us then.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
te-
yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay.
It's a
We-
Is that your
Texas
friend?
chainsaw
He's following you with a lawnmower everywhere you go, and he
Exactly.
starts the second you start a podcast.
I'm pretty sure we won't be able to hear it, but we've complained about things
Okay,
like
yeah.
that on the air before.
Because
and
now
they-
I'm hearing it. I'm
and they
like,
al- and they almost-
am I going crazy or am I hearing something? Like,
and they
okay.
almost never
Yeah.
come through in the mix, so
There we go.
I'm
yeah,
an
so-
audio editing expert,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. So the nervous system was a weird moment because suddenly, just out of doing certain exercises, I can trigger like task-oriented stuff, like doing emails or things like this, or I could make myself go more philosophical, and I could crash and sleep like 12 hours or not sleep at all, and I could just trigger almost my personality based on how I train. I was like, oh, it can't be. Is it that simple? Really? Are we that controllable? And yes,
Apparently.
pretty much. Yeah.
Well, you basically crashed the shit out of us on, that
Yep.
would have been Saturday.
Yeah.
That was on purpose.
Yep.
And people pay for that.
And they come back. Go figure. I know. They
and
pay
they
and come
stay
back. Go
all
figure.
week.
I know. And they pay more money
Right?
to come back and say, do it again.
Yeah, so
I bet you can't do it again. I'm
Don't
like,
bel- I
oh,
don't
okay.
believe you.
Yeah. I'll trust me. I'll do it again.
that's, like, now that is something we talked about. That's not, like, a session like that is not something you would do regularly.
No, I do
Where
it.
it's IT, just a
Yeah,
fucking
because you see how
train
much you
wreck.
crash after. So
Yeah.
I like to do it once a week, but that assumes that you're not going to do anything after. So forget going out, forget
Yeah.
anything else, but eat and crash.
Yeah.
So first of all, not everybody has that kind of a lifestyle, right? That you can just take Saturday off and not do anything.
Yeah.
But it was also I like to do it for the mental aspect of pushing as hard as I can because I like those movements. But the idea, no, I will not do that on a regular basis. That was really, I was trying to make a point about the nervous system, saying, look, I'm going to whack you. Like, I'm going to make you crash so bad tonight, like you're going to have dinner, go home and just crash for 10 hours. And but then after, when you come back the next day, I'm going to make you do a workout to just bring you back up. Just to show like how the human body works. But, and the point also was, we have that idea that intensity is only brought through the sympathetic training system. Like that's what intensity is. It's like,
Yeah.
and the parasympathetic you cannot really push intensity in a parasympathetic nervous system training. And I wanted to prove exactly the opposite. I can murder you into a parasympathetic training workout. Like
Been there,
exactly
done
what
that.
exactly what I did. So see, the nervous system has nothing to do with intensity. Like everybody assumes that the sympathetic nervous system is excitation, intensity, and parasympathetic is rest, and it's not. It's just the other side of the same coin.
Yeah. And I find that, like, trying to train out of that flow state
Yep.
is so foreign to me. Like, that's not,
It depends a little bit where
Yeah.
you are as a person and
Yeah.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I live.
yeah. When you guys have talked about, no, you just got to calm down, you just got to do the thing. And you're like,
Yes,
well, I don't.
you go into the freak out stage really fast.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah, but then we
my
ask you to
go-to. That's
deadlift
my
an external
go-to.
torque, and then you go internal torque. So you go internal torque when we ask you not to, and the second I ask you to go internal torque, you go external torque. I'm like, oh, you're that guy.
I
Right.
have-
Okay, you're just gonna do the opposite of what I say. Fine.
I have come to the conclusion that I am literally the worst. That's what it's with this. I'm just like, I don't know,
There's always
guys.
hope.
So
There's
tell me
always
what
hope.
to do so I can do the opposite, please.
Yeah,
go ahead.
exactly.
You and my daughter will get along fine.
We the other interesting thing, you mentioned a few of those lifters, when it comes to internal and external torque and the misapplication of that process. What have you been seeing now? What are some of the signs? I know we've talked about it this week, but what are some of the signs from the elbow position to, there's a few big red flags that you've been noticing.
Yeah, like that. I can never remember the name of it, but that muscle inside the elbow, right? Look how developed it is in CrossFit. Like we could put some pictures, but if you look at the CrossFit games that are popping up in 5 days, and look at whenever their arms are overhead, male as well, but especially the females, and you'll see that huge muscle on the inside of the elbow like that, and that comes from creating external torque on an overhead position, because they feel it's a stronger position, and that puts everything out of whack basically, because you're not in the pressing mechanism anymore, which is internal torque. Now you're in the pulling mechanism, so that puts everything on the joint, and that arm is basically getting bent, and you can see the arm on the weak side, especially of the female lifters, being bent down and away. Like so the forearm bones are not really aligned with the humerus anymore. Like the radius and the ulna are not aligned in a straight line. They start to go out and start to bend down, because you're putting all the stress on the elbow, on the joint. And if you do that enough with enough weight, it eventually starts to go. And so we see a hypertrophy of the muscle on the inside of the arm by the elbow, where we shouldn't see any. That muscle is not supposed to relax and flex. So you're not supposed to get
a huge one.
Hypertrophy. You're not supposed to get a muscle there. It's not supposed to flex, to relax and contract. That's not the point. It's just supposed to stabilize, nothing else. And now we're using it as a mover. And you don't want to do that. Imagine if you had that muscle on the side of your knee. Like suddenly you start to develop a big ass muscle on the side of your knee, on your ankle. You'd be like, dude, you're not, why? So it's the same thing on the elbow. It's a sign. It's a symptom of something that is problematic.
And between that and some some other imbalances that you've been seeing, we've been seeing a lot of lifters, especially as things get heavy, young lifters like CJ Cummings now. You'll see him at the top of his lifts.
He starts to
twisting.
Shift.
A lot of these guys now you're going to see. And they start
he's
to turn.
doing it more and more and more. He's shifting to the right, and the heavier he gets, the more he turns. It's things like that. He's so young. It would be nice to address it right now, because if we wait, we have the potential for medal at the Olympics slipping away if we don't do things early enough. Like right now, it's fine, so nobody wants to touch it, saying, "Oh yeah, it's just an idiosyncrasy." No, it's not. It's a symptom of something larger. And if that right shoulder is getting a lot of stress when he turns like that, as he controls the snatch, imagine what he does to the left shoulder, to the right shoulder.
And then the hip, the back,
that too, but imagine that shoulder, like how much stress is on it every time. And those are heavy weights, right? And and the back and the knees and all that stuff. And so he's young enough that he heals fast enough, fine, but we have a shot at a very, very good one right there. We need to take care of him from the beginning.
And those are heavy weights for anybody, relative to his size.
And how old is he? Crazy. 18 now?
Is he?
Is he even 18?
I think he might still be.
He might 17, right? Yeah. So on growth plate still. All that stuff. I'm like, let's and then the physiotherapy on the shoulder is not the problem. Larger muscle groups needs to be strengthened.
And in a case like that where it's rotation, that's more of a imbalance issue?
I don't know. I didn't assess him, so I can't tell exactly. They can be anything from the teres major to, I don't know, I would have to see, because the right side is his strong side, so I would think he would give up on the left, but I didn't see him move enough. I didn't assess him, so I can't tell. But I believe it's a symptom of a larger issue here.
What are some of the most common issues that you're seeing? I do CrossFit, own a CrossFit gym, built my, future around that. So I'm not here to disparage CrossFit as a training methodology.
On the contrary, this is where people get it wrong. Like the only thing I'm saying is I want CrossFit to do better. So if I see a problem and I don't say anything, am I not?
That means you don't care.
Exactly.
That means I don't care. Am I not part of the problem then? I'm complicit to the problem by not saying anything. So I'm just, the first rule to fix a problem is knowing there is one. I just want to say that might be an issue. We need to take a look at it, because if I feel it's a problem and I don't say anything, I'm complicit.
What are some of the other, more other consistent injuries or issues that you see related to CrossFit, the movement patterns that we use in
there's
CrossFit?
A few we're not talking about. Like, for example, let's talk about the pelvic floor problem amongst female athletes in CrossFit.
I believe that to be the single most important one.
I believe so, because, so the pelvic floor, what does that mean? That means we see a lot of female athletes peeing, right? During a double under, during box jump, during squatting. And so everybody is saying, oh, yeah, well, women, kids, and everything. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what I'm not talking about 50-year-old with 3 kids.
Now when you have 20-year-olds with
Yeah,
no
I'm talking
kids.
about 20-year-old, no kids, very, very athletic, and that cannot stop peeing on almost any activity. And so it's kind of funny at first. It's like, they're peeing everywhere. There's something almost sexual about it, so nobody's really touching it. But I think it's a sign of a much larger issue. I think the pelvic floor is collapsing. I am hearing about stories about the prolapse of the uterus now. So that would mean the uterus falling off, like literally. That's what a prolapse is. So I'm not saying CrossFit is responsible for that at all, but I'm just saying like there is a lack of strength in the pelvic floor. So my view on it is, and I talked to a few PTs for that, and is that the external torque that we place too much emphasis on in CrossFit, right, is allowing a development of the rectus abdominis, so the six-pack, right? The six-pack becomes extremely strong. That in turn activates the lumbar spine. And the lumbar spine activates the rectus. They play ping pong between the two, and then you have that's an external torque structure, right? So you have the six pack and the lumbar erectors on the lumbar spine that are basically playing ping pong, reinforcing each other, creating that arch that we see amongst all the female
competitive athletes
with like huge six pack but very tiny waist, which by the way I found beautiful, but that's not the point. So I'm not bashing. I find it. I do. I think CrossFit women are are so good looking. Probably the most so performance and good looking at the same time out there. But so you have the development of that six pack and that lumbar, that massive lumbar spine erectors developing, right? And so that comes from external torque, and that's putting all that pressure down from that strength. And what we are not doing is we are not strengthening the internal torque. Therefore, we are not strengthening the external obliques, transverse, and low abs. And so we have all that pressure from that arch position and those strong six-pack pushing down, and we are not strengthening the pelvic floor because we are not doing internal torque. So that over-accentuation of external torque and never going toward internal torque is creating such a pressure that I think it's creating a collapse of the pelvic floor. And that would cause peeing amongst younger and younger athletes, and now we see the prolapse problem, and I think that's going to be basically the peeing is a symptom of a larger problem where we're going to see the prolapse happening earlier and earlier and earlier. And that would be very, very bad news for CrossFit gyms if this keeps on getting worse. So if you're just peeing here and there, it's one thing, but now I think the symptom is getting worse basically. And so, but there is a simple way to fix that. We just need to understand internal torque and work toward strengthening the pelvic floor, which is what we've been doing with the external oblique opener, which was not created for that. I created it because I wanted to strengthen the external obliques and the transverse. But then I realized as we come up with it that the low abs was getting stronger out of it. And then when I had it testing on my women, that the pelvic floor was, because those are exactly the muscles, were getting tremendously strengthened by that. And so I had it tested with some of my athletes that had a problem with the peeing thing. And the second I would put the kettlebell below the belly button and make them do the exercise, nothing. Put the kettlebell on top of the belly button toward the rectus abdominis, the six-pack, and then even in a laying position, they start peeing. Laying position, doing nothing. They could not stop the flow. Put the kettlebell below belly button, makes them activate, nothing. Put it on top of the belly button, activate the rectus abdominis, they start peeing. So that shows me that a lot of that comes from that rectus abdominis, lumbar spine erectors, creating that external torque, and that's just pushing down everything, and then that's where the peeing happens. But I think the pushing down is going to create a much larger issue down the road. And so that is the big one, I think. And I'm gonna start going toward promoting the external obliques opener to strengthen the pelvic floor amongst women, because I believe it's a very important one.
I see it almost every week.
I think it's actually far more common than women don't like to talk about it, obviously. But I think it's very, very common.
Women in my gym that would like literally be embarrassed and go home right after the warm up.
Well, I have two types.
Or stop in the middle of a workout. Where are you going?
I have two types. Ones that will not say anything, and ones that'll be like, huh,
Yeah, it happens. But that was a big thing, like 2-3 years ago, where like CrossFit started to to make funny videos about women at regionals or at the games,
Peeing, yeah.
and they made jokes about it, and rather than saying, "Hey, you know what?
Then
This
maybe
probably
this-
should be something that should be addressed."
Well, I think at the time it
and
was just
fixed.
that. It was like it's almost sexualization of the
Yeah.
female in CrossFit, which we see all the time now.
Right.
And they're like, with the booty shorts, you can see it more if you're wearing pants. So they
Yeah.
were like, hey, look, they're peeing. It's kind of funny. You know,
happens.
you're jumping everywhere, you're peeing. It's a lot more fun than the guys shitting themselves in powerlifting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
I
a
mean-
lot more,
Yeah.
let's be
Yeah.
honest.
That's pretty funny,
Just a
though.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But that was a lot more. That was a lot.
You would never ever be able to sexualize a
I
powerlifter
don't
shitting
think-
his pants.
Ah,
though.
Okay,
I
I
would
much
say,
rather look
wow.
at the female CrossFitters peeing
Yes.
themselves than the powerlifters shitting themselves. I'll put it
That's
this way.
the truth.
And so I think we kind of put a blanket on it, going, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happens, yeah.
You know, I didn't at the time. None of this fell together for me until this week. You know, either just not knowing or just being naive or whatever. But I noticed. I think it was this year at IWF Worlds, at the weightlifting. They had both Katrin David's daughter and Annie Thor's daughter competed as weightlifters
Oh, really?
in that. I don't remember if it was this year or last year. I don't remember if it was in
Yes,
Houston.
I remember Katrin.
Houston was 2 years
Was it
ago.
Katrin? Yeah, I think I've seen Katrin.
But
yeah.
Annie,
Yeah, it was Houston. That was
it
last
might have been
year.
Houston. That would have
Yeah,
been last
yeah.
year or a year ago, November. But they, and I remember Annie Thor's daughter on her clean came up with it, peed the whole way up,
I didn't see that.
had to sidestep actually out of it before she jerked it overhead. And at the time, it was like, oh, that's funny. But you know what I didn't notice?
She was the only one.
Not yeah, and it was they were talking about, oh, these CrossFit girls are competing and they're competing well and they're doing a thing. But those girls that did CrossFit were she was the only one that
Yep.
peed on the platform.
And she has the one with the very
and
thick
she
abs,
is the one,
yeah.
and she is one that actually, if you look at the way she walks and she has very thick abs up front, narrow waist,
Massive.
huge spinal erectors.
Spinal erectors.
Bones
Lumbar
just turn
spine
out.
erectors.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, a lot of them have that. But you see how they walk, like super arch now more
Yeah.
and more. There's something there, and I think it's getting to the. I mean, like, again, like at first it's like the super arch like that. Again, I think we might have, because they look so good, overlook certain things.
Yeah.
And they're so strong and they're thick, you know, like muscle and everything, and I'm saying that in the best possible way. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to ask, because women won't necessarily tell you, especially a guy, right? But see me as a coach, I'm like, okay, so tell me, how is this going? And I think it's far more, it's always been common, but maybe not that common.
Yeah.
It's far more common than I think than we think. But what worried me wasn't that everybody's peeing or younger and younger, is that it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Now we hear about the prolapse, and amongst women that are not that old, that was a red flag.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, because if that comes around, you might as
That's
well
it.
close the CrossFit gym right now.
Yeah.
Because if we start to associate, unfairly completely, but that's the world has never been fair on shit like that,
Yeah.
where that myofascial torque creates a problem with the pelvic floor. If women associate CrossFit with that, oh man, are we fucked?
Yeah.
And again, that's nothing to do with CrossFit, the training system, because CrossFit, the training system, emphasizes every movement possible and everything. So,
And
but
you've said actually many times this week too that, you know, in spite of that, well, because there's a solution to that, you hope that your daughter trains CrossFit.
oh, totally. But I
Absolutely.
want her to do the Glassman CrossFit, not Dave Castro's.
Yeah. Not the.
If she ever wants to compete in CrossFit, she can have it, but she has to understand that this is a sport, not a training
Yeah.
system. My love is the training system of CrossFit, what
Yeah.
Greg Glassman created,
Yeah.
the nasty girls, all that
Yeah.
stuff, with a very, very specific idea in mind.
Yeah.
It is not the 40-minute workout like you see where they just murder people. It's not Murph in the sun,
Yeah.
like fucking 2 years ago.
Kind of fun, coach.
Yeah, ask what they, ask what.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly. Ask what Annie had to say about it. But so there's a sport aspect, there's a training system aspect, right? I'm talking mostly about the training system aspect. I think the sport is.
As an affiliate owner, I believe that the sport is now in my way.
Okay, but you have to
lot.
also, the sport has created a proof that CrossFit for women works.
Yes.
Without the sport, we would never know that.
We wouldn't have that top end evidence.
Of what, look
How
at the
far it can
strength
go,
of
yeah.
the girls at the CrossFit Games,
Yeah.
of the women at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
They can go into any powerlifting competition and take top 3 nationally,
Yeah.
outside of Russia maybe. But,
Yeah.
same thing in Olympic weightlifting, outside of China and Russia, they take
Yeah.
top 3 almost anywhere, right? That's
Yeah.
why Catherine competed and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
Totally
exactly.
Yeah.
Look how well she's doing. Without the sport, we will never see how far we could have pushed women. Okay, before Dave Castro, who would have pushed women that hard?
Nobody.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
took Dave Castro to do that, and they responded.
Yeah.
And they responded more than
Amazingly well.
I think even Dave Castro thought they could.
Yeah.
Nobody thought.
I
Look
think-
at 5 years ago. Did you think everybody at the CrossFit game would snatch 90 kilos now?
Yeah.
90
Right.
kilos was, who was the first one? Like, I remember
First girl to snatch 90 kilos.
he was out of
was-
California. Oh man, my memory is gone. Lindsay Valenzuela
Valenzuela.
was
Yeah.
one of the early ones to snatch 90 kilos, and at the time he was like, oh shit, because now we're talking like national level and almost European.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they were like, oh my god. And now,
Everyone.
what you mean as a hang snatch?
Yeah.
They were
Right.
doing it as a hang snatch now,
Yeah.
and that's like 4 years later.
Yeah.
The progress has been insane, and the only reason you see that, because like look at the last CrossFit Games. How many women they lifted over 165 kilos?
I think almost all of them,
All
right?
of
Or like, or at least like what, 3/4 of the
Yeah.
field?
Yeah.
I know like Lauren did 170 something. So, okay, guys, I mean, did you ever see women that lifting 400? Like that was a big number.
Right.
And now you're like, yeah, almost all of. I mean, they're all 365,
Yeah.
even small ones.
Right.
We would never have known that without the sport of CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
Is Dave Castro got that out of them.
Yeah.
So you have to give credit where credit is due, always.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this changed this year because they introduced the dumbbells more. But for the last 5 years outside of this year, you had so much just pure barbell work and everything was external torque. And that's not Castro. That's more the way the CrossFit community went toward external torque for lifting overhead, which is wrong. That has created, I think, a certain number of issues. And the problem is we took that and then we asked our regular members to do the same kind of training. And that's when we went wrong.
Yeah.
That, no. People cannot train like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem I think at the beginning is there was not a split between the training system and the sport. That was not established amongst owners, affiliate owners, and within the population coming in saying, look, what you see on Instagram is the sport, not the training system.
Because you don't see that in other sports. You don't.
Yeah,
What
nobody
I don't see
yeah.
is I don't see high school strength and conditioning coaches pushing their, you know what I mean,
Like an NFL
pushing
lineman,
NFL programming.
No, they do, but then they
onto-
die. Yeah,
Yeah.
we know for a
Yeah.
fact that you're going to kill 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do UFC training to get in shape.
No.
If you do, you're going to get the shit better of you.
Yeah.
Like really, really fast. So, but you always have that white belt, like in Jiu-Jitsu that comes thinking he's going to do the UFC, but he gets his ass kicked and then he backs off because the coach is like, no, man, you don't understand what it takes to be there.
Yeah.
So in the Jiu-Jitsu community, like we all know that guy and then he's going to get the shit better of him and his ego is going to calm down. In CrossFit, we push people toward that.
Yeah.
That's a problem. It's like you did in 20 minutes, let's do 30. Let's put more weight. Let's go. And then that's that, you know, harsh kind of confrontational maybe culture of CrossFit
Yeah.
HQ that comes out. And then we go like, oh, if you stop, you're a pussy. Go harder. And God knows I say that, but in very
Yes,
controlled environment.
yes, he
In a
fucking does,
But in a
guys.
very controlled environment.
You were walking with a sled. I mean,
You were. I had
being-
my
you were
reasons.
You were being a real
You were-
pussy type.
Yeah, exactly.
it was like a walker that you were using instead of a
exactly.
sled.
I would have rather carried that
You were
fucking
like this.
sled the
Well,
rest
you
of the
did.
way.
Yeah,
That's what
did
you
a little
did.
bit.
just to turn it around.
I
You
thought
know,
you were gonna literally run with the sled. I was like, is he
Yeah, I
gonna
think
pick
we'd
it
be
up
like,
and
fuck
run?
it, I'll do
thinking
it.
about it.
But I don't like
well, I had to figure there was something going on with the friction that I just
yeah, exactly.
something wasn't right.
Someone lied to you at some point about yeah, exactly.
You know, almost on the other side of that spectrum. So we talk about now CrossFit is kind of push, right? It gets harder, more extreme, and that's based on what we're seeing on social media. What about though? We also see a similar issue on the other side of that with people who don't understand intensity now because of the way that's trained.
Because of volume.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do
'Cause
a
you go all
30-minute volume,
volume.
you're not going to go hard. But I think like we need to go back to Greg Glassman's CrossFit like 10 years ago. Look at the .com 10 years ago, and you will see mostly like right before the games happened, and it was like a short workout, but everything was placed on the intensity. The point was, I don't know if they remember, but Greg Glassman talking about Greg Amundsen right before a friend at seminars, and for 5 minutes he had to go puke in the bathroom because he was so nervous about the idea of pushing that hard on a workout. And
Yeah.
by the way, his friend time was like 240.
Yeah,
So very high for now, right?
yeah,
And so he wasn't like, if you look at his number compared to now, it wasn't that good. But the point was he pushed that hard. So remember the fire breather, right? Where he comes from? If I'm Greg Elmerson said that because they were all of them like laying on the floor, breathing fire, and they say, "Oh, we're a bunch of fire breather."
yeah.
Okay, when was the last time you saw at a CrossFit gym people like that on the floor going? And so, can you do that? Well, depends. With certain movement, like the sled, you can. But the point of CrossFit was the intensity. The definition is functional movement, high intensity.
Yeah.
It's in high volume,
And
it says high intensity.
It's hard to get there with a fuck ton of hang snatches. And,
But that's the problem is if you go there with hang snatches, then you're going to wreck yourself. And now you're 3 months in and your shoulders are gone and your knees are fucked and your back is cramping up everybody. And then you have to lower the intensity because otherwise you're going to hurt yourself.
And when that type of stuff is programmed, frankly, a wise, responsive athlete is going to maybe pump the brakes a little bit. You know,
good,
rightfully so.
Good, rightfully so, right? But if I put you on the sled, then there's no reason to stop. That's why.
But
so it's not the intensity; it's the choice of exercises to reach intensity that is a problem, not intensity itself.
And people, and I've obviously make the choice lots of times to stay shy of that intensity, and we saw it even this weekend with people who are coaches, and some of them who would pay, we had a few coaches who would pace the sled because maybe they could move and they could move it for they could move it for the whole distance at a decent pace, but like they didn't fucking redline it.
No, they knew how bad it was going to be. They go like, yeah, you know what, I don't want that.
I want to stay just short of that.
Yeah, and that's a life choice.
Yeah.
You are the one who's going to look at himself in the mirror the next morning.
Yeah, and I don't know any better. I just went. And I was like, well, and now,
fuck it.
I still wanted to quit though.
Exactly, especially at the end. You almost did there for a second.
But no, so back to that scene though, where I'm pushing the sled. I see Julien's shadow coming towards me. I knew for a long time that I was going to probably at some point do the seminar in the Coaches Week, and that I was probably going to have that experience. But I was so fucking scared when Julien comes walking up to me. I was like, he's not going to make me kill myself right now.
Oh, yes, he
like,
is.
I was like,
yes, he is.
But it's been...
You have to know one time what it feels like.
Yeah.
In your life.
And it is, though, like you said, you'll get done with that, and the next day you're going to say, could I have gone harder?
Remember Fight Club?
Yes.
When Brad Pitt... Edward Norton is like, who wants to die without scars? They say, have you ever been in a fight? Guys like, no. Well, me neither. Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to go in a fight. He says, one time you have to fight. Who wants to die without scars?
Yeah.
One time you have to kill yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
One time. Just know what it's like. Just know what it's like to go past that moment where you think it's dangerous, but actually it's not.
And I think that's but I think there's probably a lot of people still that can do that, even maybe that did that Saturday and went, fuck, the next day. Like, I probably...
Then I
could have laid a little bit more out there.
Then I want what I wanted to get.
Yeah, because then the next time you take
then
the
they'll
next
go
step.
a little bit harder.
Yeah,
and they're still gonna wake up going,
yeah,
maybe could have gone harder.
I want you to talk about a little bit something we mentioned today about. We talked about why maybe you would recommend for us when we're pushing the sled to just decide to bear down, but maybe fucking tune it out. But your relationship with it is you like to. Just really, like I like to go and be like, I'm gonna fucking disappear somewhere else in my head and just try to move until this is over.
You have two ways to go at it. When you start the sled, you can build a room in your head, like your safety room, like a panic room, right, where things get too rough and you get to go out there and live like those dead people do. Or you can look at the sled and go, it's you and me, and for the next 90 seconds. I'm going to talk to you, but I'm going to be present for every second of every step.
It's kind of enjoyable. How do you not enjoy that?
I don't know about that, but
I didn't enjoy
I kind of enjoy it.
It's a fight with it, yeah.
I would guess that there's a certain amount of feeling 100% fully present in the moment. That you probably can't fake that.
Pain does that.
You know what I mean? Pain does that. You can't...
Yeah. Like, for me, it's like, can I kill myself pushing a sled? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
how far can you really go? Yeah.
I'm like, I will literally, whenever he says one set, or if he says like 3 sets or anything, I'm like, Coach, if I win the first set, I'm done.
I'm like, okay.
I know that as soon as I go, like, I'm going to go until I just fall. He's seen me. Like, I'll just, literally, there'll be a point where I just, like, stop. I look up like deer in the headlights and just fall and start almost crying. And everything starts cramping. I try to get my shoes off. And I'm going to go puke within like 30 minutes because I'm just done.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's like, how much further can I go next time?
Exactly.
And so it's just...
But it's a scene in Fight Club. Remember when he does the scar on the hand? He puts the powder and then he kisses it and the guy starts to go on fire and he tries to go to his room with a penguin
Yeah.
And he slaps the shit out of him,
So
going like,
don't
"Get
you
out, yeah."
fucking go there.
Don't you?
Yep.
What you know? No, you don't want to avoid that and
Yeah.
and
Right.
live like those dead people do. No,
Yeah.
just be there, be in the present, be with it. Like just
Yeah.
control it.
Yeah.
But
lot
you
of-
control it not by not being there. Then
Yeah.
you're just avoiding it.
Yeah.
You can do that if you're a pussy. But
Yeah.
or you can be
if you're pussy.
um,
If you want to wimp out.
yeah.
you
If
can do
you
that.
just can't look at yourself in the mirror anymore, that's up to you.
If you're a
But,
pussy in a green
um,
shirt with a shitty hairline.
Or you can go at it and go like, you can't scare me.
Yeah.
I look at the sled the entire time because basically it's a relationship between the sled and me for 90 seconds where we are very, very close. We share a very deep relationship. Like there's a bond right there.
Yeah.
And I tell the sled, you can't scare me.
Yeah.
Go. Because I know you will. You will try.
Yeah.
But you will not scare me. You cannot scare me.
I think it's interesting how you can try to escape that pain by mentally escaping it, or some people
you can
simply
try.
physically don't go there either,
Yeah.
where they will just pull back.
But that's your view of life in general. Like
Yeah.
if you don't understand that life is pain,
Yeah.
like if you believe anything else, they're selling you something.
Yeah.
Life is pain. That's just the way it is. And you can either choose to live with it or to escape it. But
Yeah.
you understand that by escaping it, you escape life.
Yeah.
You escape the present. So you're in that room, you're either in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
You noticed? If you're in that room, you're thinking about your day before, like
Yeah.
a good moment, what you lived, or you're thinking about the 5 minutes after once you're done.
Yeah.
But you're either in the past or the future, but you're
Yeah.
never in the present. Nobody ever lives in a room in the present,
Yeah.
right?
That's absolutely how I address those
Yes,
situations. Now that
exactly.
I think about
So
it.
you're escaping life,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah. Like
the only
if I'm
moment,
pushing that sled, I'm like, in 30 seconds, this will be a hell of a lot cooler.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
Or that you're in your honeymoon, or some shit like that. But it's one or the other, right?
Yeah.
So or you can be the most grounded you've ever been for the next 90 seconds, where for once you live in the present. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
For 30 seconds, there's nothing. There's no mortgage. There's no gym. There's no bullshit. There's no other people. There's you
Yeah.
and the sled. And the question becomes, can you just push the next 30 seconds and live your last moment well?
That's intense, man.
But that's what they say. That's what life is.
Yeah.
Can you live the next moment well? So the sled and I trying to scare me, trying to make me quit, and I'm like, no, I won't. And for the next 30 seconds, that's all there's going to be is the sled and I. The sled and me, we're going to go there together, and you will not make me quit. You will not scare me, but I will be rooted in the present to live those next few moments well. And if I die, I die. There's always a choice. The problem is people think there is no choice. They go at the sled and they say the choice is quit or not quit. I'm like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
The choices are quit, but you can always die.
Yeah.
That you can do. You always have that choice, right?
Yeah.
You can always die. So
Yeah.
you're gonna tell me, like, if you don't quit on that, you're gonna die. Bullshit. That's not true. I know because I've done it so many times. You're not gonna die. So you always have a choice. So don't tell me. So your choice is not quitting or not quitting. Your choice is quitting or die. And
Yeah.
so once you accept that you're not gonna die, then go and quit.
About that, when we arrived Saturday morning, your daughter wrote a nice little welcome note to us on the fucking whiteboard.
She loves
Yeah.
talking trash.
Yes, she does
She
love
loves
that.
talking
It was
trash.
written, I think I have a picture of it. Maybe I'll put when I put
Yep.
the slideshow for this episode, but I believe it said, welcome. Was it,
Get ready to die training.
get ready to die training? I was like, fuck.
It's funny because everybody posted it at the seminar.
Was
Everybody
it?
saw it and posted it. Yeah, it's really cute, actually.
But it's been, this week's been a really just interesting experience for me to come into it and not have, I didn't have any like really preconceived notions on what I was going to learn about or what all was going to happen. I was just going to sponge it up. But it's so, I've never felt as taken down a peg as I have, like, not just athletically, but like mentally, where like there's some times this week where it's just like, oh fuck, I feel like I'm really ill-equipped for all of this, and I think hopefully that's just what the spirit of learning is
Right.
that you always go
Yeah.
into it going, oh well, I just don't know a fucking thing, and I guess that keeps you hungry.
I feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's been cool. What's the next move? You guys are obviously just fucking nomadic, taking this thing on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it in that you guys live the what is it, the most interesting man in the world?
That's what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Is that?
If I could be between the most interesting man in the world and Rock Dwayne Johnson, I could be a mix of that. I'd be stoked, dude. I'm set. I think the next move is, I think I got really drunk with my uncle, and I remember I was like, Coach, you are my inspiration. I clearly remember writing, "You're my ride or die."
I have it.
Yeah. And
Did you call it your ride or die?
I think it was like I was like, "You're my ride or die," and I get a smiley face and a fist bump, and I was like, "I'll take that.
I'm gonna take
I like
that.
it. I'll take that."
I'm a quiet guy. I mean, that was good. I thought that was a good answer.
But I think that as the vision gets clear and we really start to see where we see, like, being all over the world, we really tend to see the true light of fitness, and you get to meet the people that truly want to make an impact, but it's very difficult to kind of break into the fitness scene if you're not willing to sell 6-week boot camps or do the marketing aspect and just have hot girls in booty shorts to sell your business,
soft and
like all this stuff. And so I think, like, the real, I always tell Julien, I'm like, this is the next step, the next progression for the fitness world. You had, like, the 70s, like Arnold just changed and revolutionized what bodybuilding was, and really changed the gym atmosphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to become yoked.
And
Yeah.
gyms in general.
Yeah. And so then all of a sudden, like, the 90s, like Jazzercise and Taibo came about, and spin classes. And then all of a sudden we had CrossFit. They came and just actually started wanting performance and to make something out of fitness rather than just, let's just be skinny bitches. And so I think now the next progression is we now understand why methods that have worked in the past work so well, and why people are breaking because they're trying to pick and choose methods. Like, if you're doing a junior Smolov so you can continue doing your CrossFit training and do a squat program, give me a fucking break.
outta
Like,
here.
come on.
You don't even know what you're doing. Yeah.
And then when you have, like, people that want to put on 100 pounds in their back squat in 1 year, you're like, dude, why don't we just span that out for 6 years? But everything in the fitness industry is a 6-week cycle or 8-week cycle. Look at any Flex magazine, look at bodybuilding magazines.
Yeah.
They're all 6 to 8 week cycles. So I think the cool thing now is that we get to meet coaches that, although you may not feel equipped, you want to make a bigger change and you want to make a dent within the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And you understand that it's not a 6-week cycle, and it's not an on-ramp program to do CrossFit for 3 months and then go on to do spin, but being healthy requires work. And so once we actually understand why we do the movements that we do and why we program a certain way, now we can actually start progressing coaching and progressing the fitness industry. So I think that, my giant vision for Strongfit is truly just revolutionizing the way people view fitness and people view training, just for health, not for the gains of the six-pack, but you can still get that along with it.
Yeah.
I still want a six-pack.
So do I.
Everybody wants
You're getting close, Coach. You're getting lean.
Yeah.
You're getting lean.
Yeah, you have gotten lean, by the
but
way.
he-
What's
yeah,
going on?
yeah.
Are you not letting him eat?
Oh no, we're
he's-
fucking eat everything.
The lady
man.
today at the sushi place was like, you do realize there's a charge if you over order. I was like,
Don't
we're
worry
good.
about us.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Just
we're
keep
good.
it coming.
No, it's just like it's training correctly now. I kind of figure out the nervous system thing, to a large degree anyway. And so now I don't need days off anymore. I just continuously training hard, and so the results basically speak for themselves.
And you guys both train now, like, you train with intention, but it seems like you guys are training. One thing you guys are doing a lot of is experimenting with the new system.
Of course.
Yes.
But
We're
also,
always experimenting.
but it also
Yes.
seems like you guys are training a little bit just intuitively now too, where you're not.
No, actually, no. That's what it looks like, but it's not.
Okay.
It's actually based on torque and nervous system. It's just we don't train for the same obvious reasons. Like people train, I'm going to do legs today, or it's a back squat session, so I'm going to do back squat and then front squat and then thrusters and then so because I'm going to do mostly toward my quads and everything. So whereas now we train more toward based on the nervous system or torque chains.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to go internal torque. I'm going to go parasympathetic the entire time.
Yeah.
But I do it through exercises and things like that. So it might look random, but it's not at all. It's very, very specific. I'm just looking for a very, very specific thing.
If you zoom back from that just a little bit, it's funny because that's so much different from the way me and a lot of people train too, though, where it's
And
like
for the longest time.
I just, all right, I'm gonna get huge for a couple months, and then I'm gonna lean down a little bit, And now,
But you can do that too, yeah.
And you're
yeah.
just now kind of, you're doing it, you're doing what you're doing, but you're letting your body's just gonna.
So, but that's
adapt
the
to
thing is when I stopped caring about that, my body responded.
Yeah.
Because when I started training for the right reasons, my body responded. Before I was just getting fat.
Yeah.
And suddenly I'm training correctly, started to lean out, but the strength is still there. And so it's been so weird. Like, of course, you find what you were looking for on the road where you didn't look for it. It's always the same shit in life. The more you look for it, the less you find it. It's annoying as shit. But and so I'm training for the right reasons in a way. It's like there's like a number of steps, right? But first, if you can target the nervous system correctly. So now I train to become smarter. Whether that makes sense or not, I would have to go into the whole thing. But basically, I train to target my nervous system a certain way, so that I'm stronger as myself. I'm smarter, stronger, better but as me, not as a human being, but me. The way I'm built, the way I'm shaped mentally, the kind of person that I am.
Yeah.
I am training in order to make that person better at being themselves. So I'm literally training me to be a better me. And that nervous system smarter, stronger, and then my body has, and of course, once you figure this out, your body responds tremendously well because you are training you. You're not training. I'm not training Dorian Yates.
Yeah.
I'm not training me to become Dorian Yates because you can't. There's only one Dorian Yates.
Like everybody gets on Arnold's
I did.
9-week PEC program.
Fuck, I did.
Like,
I followed
works,
Dorian
man.
Yates' program to the letter for like a year and a half when I was 18. I did. I totally did. But now you're training you to be somebody else. You can't be that person. It's already there. The seat is taken.
There's a lot of that I see a lot of just lack of self-awareness when people do train.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
Like they say do bicep curl, like, oh fuck, I'm gonna do bicep curl.
Yeah.
But so now I came around and I said, okay, but what's a
one?
bicep curl? Yeah, exactly. Which one? How?
Yeah.
So you know the what now. How about we figure out the how?
And then why?
And that's still the most important part. And that's what I've been the last few months I've been about is the why, the nervous system. That is the key. And it's funny because now we are at a time where it's funny, the world works like that. Like the same time Einstein started to figure out like the relativity and everything, like then in the 20s is quantum mechanics, and everybody figured out the same thing at the same time basically. And then because he changed things a little bit and then everything exploded. Everybody right now is after the nervous system. Wim Hof has opened a door too that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So because he's done stuff with the nervous system that should not be done. And so everybody's like, shit. So the medical community is like, oh, that you can't do that. And yes, he's doing it. So that's at the same time I'm figuring my stuff on the nervous system. And then a lot of people talking about breathing, and Brian McKenzie is going toward the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing. And so we all going toward the nervous system.
Everything's
but
coming
I can
close.
trigger it. Yeah, but I can trigger it.
Yeah.
So now they have the whole thing about the fascia that has its own endocrine system, like that can even up to the link to the subconscious and hormonal levels and stuff like that. But that's still a what. They're explaining how all that stuff works, but not how it works. Just what works when you do this happens and everything. What I wanted to figure out is, okay, but then how do I trigger it?
Yeah.
It's one thing to tell me it's there. It's not enough though.
Yeah. How can I call upon it when I want it?
How do I control it?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're telling me there's one versus the other. Okay, then how do I change it? How do I go at it? It's like knowing like there's subconscious. Okay, how do I control it?
Yeah.
I want to know.
It's
It's not enough to tell me it's there. You can't just show me the stuff and tell me I can't touch it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then I want to figure it out. You know what I mean?
But I want to touch.
But that's why I don't go to strip club. I'm like, I don't want to look at it. I want to touch it. Sorry. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't go to strip club. I'm like, yeah, but if I can't have it, I don't want to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like going to chocolate factory and not having any. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So you can't just show me the subconscious and say you can't control it. I'm like, fuck, yes, I will.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nervous system, fine. I'll find a way to control it.
Yeah.
And so that's what the system is now, is I can control the nervous system.
And as this stuff starts rolling out, I think that'll be the next big eye-opening thing that we see out of it.
No question.
From a training aspect, what I see what you guys are doing, just as from the outside, now getting just a little bit of a closer view of it, is I view what CrossFit's doing as I feel like CrossFit is so close to being like it is a great system, and I feel like what you guys are putting together is just filling in all of those gaps to make it now there. Like,
It's
like
actually-
that's where we're at.
Rob Wolf talked about that. Like the reason he left, actually, I mean, after the Castro fight and because he got assassinated, but he talks about. I remember a blog of his saying like CrossFit to him was that's why he joined. He was the key to everything. He said we could have changed everything with CrossFit. The only difference is I still think we can. That's all we do. Like, look, CrossFit is insane. Like I've been saying from the get-go for the last 7 years that the one place CrossFit will not work is in France, because French people don't train. There's 400 CrossFit. There's 400 CrossFit in France. L'île de la Réunion, which is about that big, it's about like 5 kilometers wide. It's a bit more, but I'm joking. But they have 13 on the island.
Really?
It's off the Madagascar. It's east of Madagascar.
Really?
So where's that?
I don't know where that is.
Okay, so South Africa,
on,
East
dude.
Madagascar.
Wait,
Have you not
wait,
seen the movie
Is that-
Madagascar?
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
the movie with the fucking little monkey thing.
That.
Little monkey
Lemurs.
raccoons.
Lemurs.
Little mon-
Shh, lemurs, not monkeys.
They're called monkey raccoons, Julian.
No, they're called
Everybody knows
lemurs.
that.
It's only from Madagascar. Come on. So South Africa, East Madagascar, Île de la Réunion. Right?
Yeah.
And they have 13 on the island.
No shit.
Yep. And so, but there's 400 CrossFit boxes in France. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
French people don't train. How the fuck CrossFit did something nothing else ever come close to. Even the gold gyms.
Yeah.
That blew up in the States, but in Europe, it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I think CrossFit can be the gold gym era, but for the whole world. I really do think so.
Yeah.
And especially in Europe. It's blowing up in Europe right now. The thing is, let's not fuck this up.
Yeah.
There are a few
Yeah.
issues. There are a few issues.
I look at at least where it kind of fell into my lap, because it really did. I was forced into it. It just kind of fell into my lap, and I look at that as just a really sweet gift that was given to me, and I think a lot of people see it that way. For themselves. You know what I mean? It's something that they found and they really cherish it, but maybe they don't know how to be a caretaker for it as a whole. And I think that's what you guys are doing. I think that's pretty legit.
Yeah, it takes people arrogant enough to think I can make a difference.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I like it. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to get out there today?
Fuck yeah. What, we just started.
All right, let's
Are
keep
you going to
going.
cut us
Let's
off
go.
already? Do
Let's hear it.
episode 1 and 2 or do something.
We'll do
like,
it. I got
don't cut
nothing to
off
do.
Exactly. Don't cut us off
I'm
already.
simply trying
Are we
to be...
1 hour in? Is
We're
that
an
it?
hour. I don't have any hard
Yeah,
deadlines.
we just started, man.
We'll
Come
keep
on, let's
going,
just
man.
keep on going.
I don't...
Once he gets going, bro.
Here's how it goes. So normally what I do with all of these, when I'm interviewing something, I have two criteria, and that's why I don't very often get told no when I ask for interviews, is I'm always nice, and I try to be as respectful of their fucking time as I possibly can.
Well,
so it's like,
nothing all day.
it's
We're
like
good.
I'm going to run in, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get this set up. Okay, you good? You got your hour? Let's get the fuck out of here, right? So, no, you want to hang? I'm not going anywhere till Saturday, so...
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna bring beer, so we could have like.
I actually
beer.
have
Yeah.
them in my truck.
There you
We'll
go.
get to that.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
That's episode 2.5. But yeah.
So you guys are going to take it from here to there. What's that process looking like for you? You guys are now you're coaching coaches exclusively now.
That's the process.
Almost not working with athletes,
I think
short
that's
of the
what-
occasional
Yeah.
assessment.
I mean, we still do
Richard
assessments.
does.
I love working with people, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's not even the. I mean, like, I charge a lot just because I put a lot of effort into it. But
Yeah.
I still get so much gratification out of helping people.
yeah,
Like, even if it's just somebody just doesn't understand anything and they just send me a message, like, I'll give my time up. You
Yeah.
know, if they listen, I'll keep giving my time.
Yeah,
If
if
they
they
don't
put the-
listen, fuck that shit.
If they buy
Yeah.
in,
Like,
if they buy in, if
Like
they
the other day,
put
there
the
was
work.
somebody that's my shoulder's been hurting, but I was like, just go do that pull. And I was like, I don't have time to go.
Yeah.
I was like,
You're
"Ooh,
out.
Oh, now we're done.
I'll talk to
Wrong-
you later.
Yeah,
6 months later.
Yep.
So I'm getting shoulder surgery, but could you see me and help me rehab? And I was like, sure, $400 a month. They're like, all right. First thing that I wrote on there, go do lap pull downs. The guy sends me a video doing lap pull downs the next day. I'm
I
like,
know.
why didn't you do that 6 months ago, dude?
It's amazing
But-
what having a little skin in the game will
Yeah,
do.
but there's I mean, like, I enjoy working with regular people. I don't like athletes are cool, but just people that are truly trying and they have no other way of doing it.
Yeah,
That's what we see too. Is just there is no
Yeah.
option. That's
Like, they've gone
that's
everywhere.
heartbreaking sometimes.
Yeah.
And like they've been like physio for 4 years now,
Yeah.
and it's always the same stuff, and it's not working.
I mean,
And they can see themselves going down and down and further down the hole, and they go like, "Is that what my life?" And the worst thing is they get to a place where they go like, "Yeah, that's what my life is gonna be."
Yeah.
That's where we're like, "Fuck no, okay, we have to help them," because that level of despair just that bothers me.
yeah.
I have and I don't want to get into anybody's business. So what I want to bring up was a couple of the assessments that we had this week. We had one that just visually to me, when I talked to her afterwards, she had shoulder trouble for a long time,
10 years.
for 10 years, and it was she'd been to chiropractors, physios, for off and on forever. Always kind of a pain thing. Always she even knew she had instability, but just couldn't pin it down. You ever take her shirt off, put her hands up over her head, and we look from the back, and right away I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
And I told
missing something.
I told her afterwards, I said, the funny thing about that is I don't know a fucking thing, and I knew that was fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can tell something wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in the last 10 years, nobody has ever asked to see that.
Yeah.
Nobody ever say, put your arms up. Let's see if. So that's what I get a bit frustrated with that world is, if you look, it's never larger muscle groups.
Mm-hmm.
It's never the large muscle. It's always a small one.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? So you can't. That's what's gonna make you go from 500 to 600 in your deadlift is
Right.
working your scapula.
Yeah. Most of your rehab stuff that you see is all little stuff.
Which is okay for the first few weeks because
Yeah.
they learn that through after surgery or stuff like that. But then the problem is they're taking that same approach and now taking it toward performance, and that's where I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, that you cannot do.
Yeah. The thing that drives me nuts is like these people will go see the chiro or go see the physio, and they'll have the same person for years,
And not get any better.
and they still have the same pain, and you're like, you have to go do lat pull downs. So like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, if I'd gone to Julien in 6 months, I still have the same fucking issue.
Fire me,
Like,
please.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, I've
Yeah.
spent like $7,000 going to see you. Like, I'm literally almost living out of my car because I can't afford to go see you anymore. Like, and I'm not fixed. Like, how can people keep
Yeah.
paying and have so much trust in somebody
Yeah.
and still not see results?
And a lot because they say that it's like, no, I trust my Caro. I've seen him for 5 years.
If I spent, yeah,
For 5 years.
It's like, yeah,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
That's weird.
if I spent 2 fucking days at a restaurant and never ate any fucking food, I'd leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like if you go to a restaurant and you get a fucking taco and it tastes like fucking Clorox. Like,
getting-
I'm not coming
But the
back.
guy's like, don't wait, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Next
get
time
better.
you come in, it tastes like
next, time,
Pine Sol.
next time you're calling,
It'll be Pine Sol and then it'll be
best taco
Windex.
ever,
It'll be
best taco
delicious.
We're
ever, best taco
gradually
ever.
progressing the taco
Yeah.
quality.
You're not ready for the taste. You're not ready to taste the best I got to offer.
It's
so
a-
we're gonna
it's-
bring you there.
it's
like
acquired,
slowly.
it's
Exactly.
acquired.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's
It is an
you.
acquired taste. Yeah.
It's not the tacos, it's you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't get that mentality. Like, I see right through it. Because I went to go see like is it ART, the active release therapies.
Yeah.
Like, my massage therapist, like, dude, I felt amazing, but I would go back to them next week feeling even more beat up.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, I would still go see my massage therapist because it's awesome, but like,
No, but it
I
feels
know,
awesome while you do it. There's no
yeah,
question. But how long does that
it's
last?
a great additive, but it's
Yeah.
like if you don't understand how to fix the root of the problem, you're just gonna end up being more and more fucked up. Like, that's what happened to my shoulder. Like, it ended up
Yep.
popping,
Yeah.
and then I went to go see a physio. He's like, oh, well, it's probably your labrum, so
Yeah, it's always-
you have
it's
either
always a labrum.
surgery or
Or it just
take the
hurts
pain.
now.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck. So I started like just going on the internet, and then they're like, I think it was on T Nation or something, and they gave me like all the little band work.
Yeah.
And the pain went away. I mean, like, I could still do rope climbs and everything. And so it wasn't until I started to go see Julien and doing all that shit that, like, I started to feel better with my shoulder. I could actually bench without pain. I was like, there's something there.
Yeah.
Like, that's, proof is in the pudding.
Yep. That's what I asked, really.
Yeah. Did you guys ever train like just like less self-aware? Like, did
Oh,
you
yeah.
train
All
just
the
like
time,
we're
dude.
just
That's
just
most of
like
my
an
clients.
asshole?
I was
Like,
an
no,
asshole
No,
for
you're
so
so
long.
athletic compared to some other people.
No, I mean you personally. Did you train? You
Yeah.
when you worked out when you were younger, did you ever just have like your nope, this is my meathead phase, where you were like Pantera?
I did
loud as
Dorian
shit?
Yates' program to the
Okay,
letter
that's
for
right.
a year and a
We
half.
forgot about
What'd you
that.
call that?
I used to literally train like 6 hours a day.
Yeah,
Like, I would look at Rich Fronings's program. I was like, I can do that. And I double it.
yeah.
Or I was like, right before I went to go see Julien, I was doing CJ's programming plus my powerlifting plus strongman. And so I wouldn't tell him this, but I would go do his stuff.
Yeah.
And then I get to my gym, I go do all CJ's, all Invictus competitive programming. And then I still add my own stuff because I was like, well, I want a back squat today. So I'd go back squat. Dude, everybody that looks at me now, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
what happened?
Dude,
Yeah.
I used to go and do like the stupidest shit. Like I would literally wake up, I'd go coach class, I'd train, I'd go have breakfast, I'd train, I'd coach class, I'd train, I'd take a nap, I'd train.
Yeah.
I would close down the gym, I'd go buy some cake, I'd eat cake while I squatted at the end of the night. That was like every day until I literally would just break, and I would either like my immune system would go to shit and I'd be sick for like a month, and I was like, quit doing that. I'm like, it's fun.
Why?
So many. I see so many people at
I
really,
wish I'd done that though. My mid-head face was so stupid because I did one set for 3 exercises. I didn't get shit out of it. So I wish I'd gone your way and go crazy. Instead, I went the other way, going like, "Well, that's what all you need. Say you should do. So that's what I'm gonna do." So from like 18 to 20, I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
So-
I barely got stronger because I wasn't doing anything.
No, I
So
mean, like,
when I get out of my meathead phase, like next week or something,
Yeah.
once I'm ready to move
What
on.
happened then?
ready to-
Yeah. What happened?
I see a lot of people do that almost at any level with CrossFit. Though, is there's that attitude of more is better.
Yeah, but I mean, we all went through that.
Yes, but I see they'll go up, get up against a nagging injury setback, take
Okay,
the time
but
off,
as long as
Yeah.
there's,
and it
as
hurts
long
their
as
feelings.
yes,
to not,
but
to
as long
be
as there's a
off.
coach to tell them, look, I did that. We all did it.
Yeah.
You're a white belt. We all did it in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Can we talk now about being smarter about this? No. Okay, then come back when you're hurt.
Yeah.
That's fine. My problem is when the coach is like, pussy, do it again.
Yeah,
Go harder.
it's one thing.
Rest. You should do small off because then your squat will be better.
Yeah,
That's what my problem is.
I think it's
small off. Yeah, I know. We talk about small off all the time. It's just
You wouldn't
stupid shit.
believe I actually see people. I have clients all the time who will say, "So I'd like to have my back squat go up. So should I just do a small off? like
Yeah.
that's the go-to, or maybe I'll just do a hatch cycle for a
I
while."
don't even
don't
fucking know what
understand
small off
shit.
is.
And it's like just
because it's all over the internet.
I know
Coach. It's
that
popular.
it's
if
crazy.
it can be on an app, then
It
it's
is.
like
I think it
trust
is.
me,
yeah,
it's
it
all
is. No, it
I'm
is.
sure
Yeah.
it
So
is.
once it's there, and it's like, well, that's easy to get to. Off we go. You know, and
This is really the problem in the fitness industry is we need quality.
Yeah.
We need better coaches. It's just that's the end. We just need a higher quality of. I'm not specially. We don't need more certifications or a better one.
Yeah.
That's not true. We just need coaches that want to get better.
Yeah.
Where it's not enough just to coach, because you make $25 an hour and you're like, well, it's better than Starbucks, and better do that to make some money while I finish this or I do this, and that's really what the problem is. We
Yeah.
just need people that go there as a vocation, and we need to cultivate that culture. We need
Yeah.
to give those young guys that want
want
that
it,
guy
yeah.
who cares, right? We need to
Yeah.
give him the tools to care and do better at his job. And right now, it's such a fucking shit show in the internet. Where do you go
Yeah.
to find knowledge? Information everywhere.
Yep.
Knowledge. Where do you go? Like martial arts. I went to John Machado. There's a Machado. There's a great. I want knowledge about jiu-jitsu. There's a Machado. So I'm like, please teach me jiu-jitsu, not the fucking positions.
you didn't.
Jiu- the
You didn't Google your way through jujitsu?
No, I did
I
not.
think that was before Google.
Yeah, exactly. What's that?
Googled
We had
my
books
way to
back
a
then. No,
brown
we had
belt.
books.
You had to go to the library.
We had books back then about jiu-jitsu. Sorry. So there was no app on that shit, that's for sure. And I went to John Machado, and he explained to me what jiu-jitsu was. What, not an armbar, right?
Yeah.
What the nature of jiu-jitsu, what the
Yeah.
flow. You know, especially Brazilian, they love to bullshit you about
Yeah.
that one. But the flow, like moving the transition, all that stuff,
Yeah.
that's what jiu-jitsu is, right? And so, but if you don't have that guy to explain you the nature of it, all you're learning is information. And God knows there's information out there. There's so much of it.
And that's
There's
hard
too much
because,
information, not
because
enough
like
knowledge.
because like for me, I don't have like a lot of you seek information. It's easy to seek information.
Yep.
So when you're trying to get better as a coach, sometimes you just are. I feel like that's what I've done for 2 years now. Is part of just kind of being obsessed with the whole thing is just raking in information and then trying to sort out
but
the
then
shit.
it's, then
from
it's
the-
confirmation basis.
Yeah, it's
confirmation
tough.
bias. You're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
looking for someone to say that you're right. We had a
Exactly.
guy at the seminar in Miami who wrote on the survey, like he gave us a 0 actually. We never had a 0 before, so I was kind of like, what?
First year.
So that one
Yeah.
got read.
Yeah, and he said like, you're living in fantasy land. You can't apply any of the shit you're talking about.
It's like easy.
And I was
shit
like,
to
they're doing
apply.
it. They're doing it
Yeah.
at Invictus right now, even
Yeah.
for the game athletes. They're doing it with their
It's not
normal
even-
people. We have
it's not
5
even
gyms.
It's not even the programming. He's thinking that I bet you that you can't apply this in the real world is the privates. But it's like
we have 5 gyms doing it right now
but
with
it's like
privates all the
look
time.
at look all over the world. The most lucrative business is being a personal trainer.
Yep.
If you go, that's what I don't get. Like you go to gyms, like CrossFit gyms are like, oh well, my personal my hour class is $50. I was like, do you know what fucking 24-hour fitness is charging? Because they charge 105, and those dudes, some of them have knowledge, but I mean, for the most part, you go from machine to machine to machine to machine.
Well, look at Equinox. It's 150,
Yeah.
125.
So
150.
it's I don't understand why CrossFit got off of the whole personal training bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where the turn came. I think that the problem is it exploded so big that now it was everybody just wants to get retention and just they know they have the cycle of members to go through,
Yeah.
and they just try and get numbers in the building, and that's all they care about.
Yeah, but then now we're going the wrong way because
Yeah.
Greg Glassman started with privates, by the way.
Right.
So it's always been like that because you can pay attention. So it was never about classes. But
Plus-
now we're getting into CrossFit gym becoming Starbucks instead of hipster coffee shops.
Yeah.
And that worries me a little bit, like because I see more and more businesses where they're going toward those, online business, whatever they call it, like help, basically,
Right.
those business programs.
Yeah.
But that's like Infusionsoft, that's
Yeah.
mass emails. Like, dude, you're not 24-hour fitness. You're not Starbucks. You're the hipster coffee shops. They come to you for the sense of culture of the gym, the community that you're building, like those small jiu-jitsu gyms that we had. Like it's the training at the UFC gym. I'm sure they have all those champions. It's not the same at that small gym where I train with John Machado because
Right.
there's, like if you go to a training camp in Thailand. A camp is good at boxing, another one has low kicks, another one's at knees, and so you rotate because they all have their own culture and everything. That's the hipster coffee shop, right? Where there's its own culture. The barista makes a coffee, but he like Ethiopians because the taste is a bit more like this, and he doesn't do 21 grams of coffee. Does 23 because he likes a bit stronger, and that's why you go see him because he fucking tastes better.
Yeah.
Whereas you go Starbucks, they all taste the same. Is that what we want?
No.
To have all CrossFit running on Infusionsoft with mass emails, all tasting the same? Then we're going back to what they made fun of for so long.
Yeah.
That worries me.
And it's hard because I'm new to that whole end of things, but that stuff seemed so appealing to me. Like oh my God,
Oh, the
thank God I
flashy
could
stuff?
I just want to. Good, I can farm the leads. I can manage all of that
Right.
easier.
Yeah, exactly.
And as we've talked about that over the
But then
course
you're
of
not a
this week,
coach.
well, exactly.
And what leads anyway?
And what you're not getting is what you're not doing is then being a caretaker for your product.
You know what?
And your product is not your lead generation system. Your product is
you.
the difference you're making in your clients.
No, it's you.
You know.
It's you.
But you know what you're not doing when you're doing Infusionsoft? You're not making yourself better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And guess what? The business is, it's you.
Yeah.
You as a coach, you as a person.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. Now you think a computer is gonna do your work. Like he sends email. What's on the email?
Exactly.
What's the content?
Yeah.
Because the content is what you bring to it. So can you define your vision clearly? Like that's the Quentin Tarantino stuff I saw like a few weeks back where he's saying like my job is not to build my vision. My job is to explain my vision so clearly that I can hire the right people, that will hire the right actors for me, that will express my vision on screen. So my job is not to build my vision. My job is to be extremely clear about what my vision is so that people can build it. So as the owner, that's who you are. You are someone who is there to explain the vision so clearly your coaches know what you want so they can give that to your people. So your job is to make yourself better.
Yeah.
And as you make yourself better, your vision will become clearer. So all that time you spend sending mass emails where the content is shit anyway,
Yeah.
and leads out of what?
Or
You
when
don't
it's-
even know the people you're talking to.
Or when they're just like voiceless mass emails,
Then what
Yeah.
leads are you creating anyway? Plus,
Yeah.
you're sending it to who? People in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's not a community. That's not
No.
building a community. That's not how you do it.
No.
You do it through word of mouth. You do it through the people you know, your friends, who say that dude is awesome.
Yeah.
And so you're not spending that time to make yourself better. That's the problem with all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if you wanted to go that route, let's say you wanted to go that route,
Mm-hmm.
you, as a person, started the gym because you wanted to become a better coach.
Yep.
You wanted to help people.
Exactly.
So you spending 10 hours of your day, if not, maybe not of the day, but
Of
probably
week,
about
at least a week.
12 hours
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
trying to learn how to do the fucking MailChimp and the Infusionsoft, why don't you just pay somebody to do that?
Yeah.
And you fucking go become a better coach so that when somebody
Exactly.
actually comes to see you, you're not going, oh, well, you see our class schedule is this. No, tell them, hey, man, like, I used to be in heating and electrician, and
Yeah.
and this is what I did, and I started getting into shape because this and this happened in my life, and you actually create a connection. Why are people so afraid to have a connection with another human being nowadays?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
quit
that's
fucking
true.
speed dating.
Yeah.
Like, make a connection. Like, talk about your past. Make a connection about why you're in the gym every day trying to become better.
Yeah.
That, if they can understand that part of you, and they know that when they come into the gym, you're going to give them that 100%, $10 they're in.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But because that's
Who
true.
cares
but
about? I mean, the
yeah.
class schedule becomes an issue, but
How
they
big of an
wanna-
issue is that? Give me a
yeah,
break.
like they
No.
want to have a fun community. Like, go
And-
do a barbecue on a Sunday.
And
man.
you know that what's funny is
Yeah.
that was the piece that maybe I didn't expect either, but like I found that like I spend a lot of time responding to emails telling people what my rates are and what our
Right.
class schedule is, and I'm like, fuck.
Okay, but that you can have someone doing that.
Exactly. I just
You
gotta
will
put
have
somebody
someone
on
doing
that,
that.
Yeah.
But by the way, so you have those emails and everything, and now these two guys go through your door because they saw the email.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Are you going to say this is the class schedule? So
No.
how are we different from 24 Fitness? now?
Exactly.
What are you going to tell them? Why are you different? Because I go into the hipster coffee shop, I know exactly what's different. Each has his own identity, right? Different interior design, because the barista behind the door, when I walk in, he was like, dude, I know they all explain to me how to make espresso. I think I'm like halfway there now.
Yeah.
Like almost
You
open my
sent me
coffee
a message.
shop.
You're like, the other day he's in LA. He's like, so how do I make a French press? I was like, you're French, coach.
No, but that's because it's Turkish. It's not French. That's the problem.
And so I'm like, well, heat the water to this, because I try to become a good coffee maker. I'm still not that good, but I'm like, I'm googling this shit. I'm like, I can't let coach down.
Yeah, but I can
was
make
like,
espresso now.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, there's something unique about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna have
Yeah.
15 different CrossFit gyms in the area, be unique.
And I think that's the value in what can be built in the long run, just globally too, is that everyone is going to
But
have
the sense
voice.
of community, because that's what we lost in this world, right?
Yeah.
Like man, now it's 7 billion people and everything. The sense
Yeah.
of community,
Is way
like
gone.
you need your own tribe now, and
Yeah.
that's what CrossFit was. Is developing a sense of community. So if we all do the infusion stuff, and every time you hear the class schedule, and hey, I'm like all the other ones, then we lost the soul of CrossFit. Wasn't that the fun part? Was always the community?
Yeah.
That isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Like the barbecue on the weekend where everybody in the community shows up. I mean, that's long gone, but still, like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
That was a cool part. That's why I like a strongman competition is I knew all the competitors. We talked. Usually, like, I try to make everybody laugh because it made me less nervous. And then after that, we all have dinner and everything. That's what I like the most about the competition. It wasn't actually the competition itself. I can lift weight at home. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah. I want to get into that actually. We had talked about a little bit, touched on the nervous system stuff, and one of the things that I noticed as we were going through is that like I train like really pretty one-dimensionally. I'll train like loud as shit, aggressive, all external torque, a bunch of loud music, and that's I do enjoy that.
Yep.
But when I would get to a competition, which I don't compete all the time, but every time that I do, all of that on me, where it's like, all right, and you get out there,
Yep.
but then there's a fucking crowd, and then there's pressure, and then you have to do this and
And
this
it's
to
on
maintain
command.
first
It's
place,
3,
and
2,
you
1,
got to
go.
do it now,
Yeah.
and then things start to get overwhelming, and then
Yep.
the only way that I could perform, and the times that I did it well, would be I would have to take a
Chill
moment,
yourself
literally
down.
right before I would do the lift, would be, I'd have to like sit back, relax, take like just a split second to chill out, appreciate the fact that I'm here, and then go and do it. And those times would be, I would almost always exceed my expectations relative to how I had been training
Right.
in that. And I never, maybe in my head, I was like, your boy's just a fucking gamer. Turn it on when the lights are on, right? But I don't know that necessarily was the case.
Most of events in strongman are internal torque, pressing, carries, and things like that. So internal torque would be more toward the parasympathetic nervous system. So they are mostly perform better when you're in that flow state.
Yeah.
If you look, that's what the carries, like if you tighten up, usually you slow down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So most of strongman is better done in the flow state. So if you chill before, like you're about to do, you're actually in the right nervous system and you most likely will perform better.
Yeah.
At home, you were getting super excited, like angry music and everything. That's all sympathetic. I think that particular nervous system did not fit the lift you were performing.
Yeah.
Because those lifts you were performing should be done toward internal torque.
So that's the flow state. And instead you were paddling with the wrong drugs.
Yeah.
You were forcing yourself to go into the wrong mindset for those particular lifts. When you were in competition, because of the crowd and everything, you had to go toward the parasympathetic more, and that put you into the right torque chains in order to perform the lift, and you ended up performing better.
Yeah.
So literally your mindset can affect your training and competitive state. But that we know that.
Yeah, and for me it was like, Jesus, how much better would it be if I wasn't
if you train
training
correctly.
in the opposite way, you know?
Yeah. If you train correctly.
Really?
You do that all the time, man.
Really?
Anytime I ask you to deadlift, you're squatting. Every time I'm asking you to squat, you're deadlifting. So I'm like, okay,
I know.
we can work on this. Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's actually nice for me actually, because like when I had started in CrossFit, it was one of those things where I was like, I knew going in at least at the point where I was like, God, I am fat and I'm out of shape, and I knew going in I wasn't going to be good at anything. So that part, I had that expectation.
So, what was the first workout?
My first, so I did like an on-ramp course. So no joke, the first workout was, I think it was 10 minutes of something simple like maybe 8, 10, 12 like air squats and push-ups and sit-ups or something like
How'd
that.
that go?
Fucked my entire world up. And remember that back pump we're talking about today? I had that before we even got to the workout, just for them teaching me how to air squat, and I couldn't air squat. At that time, I was like 360 pounds of mashed potatoes, so I'm like sitting back to a 20 or 30.
It's a heavy back squat.
A 30-inch box,
Yeah.
and I'm like back and up, and I'm fucking just dying. It was the worst. But so then I got my ass kicked for like 6 or 8 months by literally everybody.
Oh yeah, you're much better now. How's the ass kicking going?
Fuck. Your boy got nothing done in the last 2 years. But I got so anyway, that's a feeling that like I have actually never had any delusions about being good at CrossFit per se. Like you know what I mean? Like,
that's all good.
I know better.
I'm not making the games anytime soon.
Yeah, like I know better than that. I enjoy it. But this week has been like, it was like right back to when I started, which is actually good. I don't know, you guys saw how frustrated I got sometimes with those things, but that was usually like that part of it. I kind of like the all right, bitch.
It's not that. You're looking at it too harshly. It's like I'm asking you to engage a nervous system you're not used to dip into and everything. I'm asking you things that are very, very hard to do.
For me, that frustration wasn't. It wasn't like I had an expectation. That frustration is. It's actually like, all right, now you've got work to do, which is good. Like I think that's how you learn.
Yeah.
But
like I don't think if I came through it,
yeah.
I don't think if you patted me on the back and you said, "Hey, Tyler, you're doing all right, though. I mean, you just do the thing." Like that wouldn't have done it. You have to sit there and be like, "Fuck."
Yeah, but that's I go through it too. Sometimes I can't figure out stuff, and I'm like, "Why are you so fucking stupid?"
Yeah.
Like I how come I didn't figure out the nervous system before?
Yeah.
Like it's not that complex to figure out.
I feel
just
like
did.
It is,
It's
but
not that
I
complex.
just did. I did. How come I didn't figure out before? So I go through that all the time.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's annoying me that I can't control certain things.
Yeah.
And so, but that's how I know I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
This frustration is necessary.
Yeah, and I think that frustration though was what got me where you like in the beginning where I like would buckle down and be like, all right, this is fucking, I'm doing this thing now because I'm upset. It's a challenge.
Good.
And
then we succeeded.
And that's where I was
wanted.
back at, today, yesterday, the day before.
That's good.
With those things, it was like, all right, we're back to where like, now it's good to feel like you have so much stuff that you now can learn.
But that's why. But it's good. See, that's why I like chess.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, that fucking computer drills me every morning. I feel like I bitch slapped. I'm like, I talk, but my cheeks are still numb from the bitch slapping. That's how I feel every morning. I mean, but that's good because I need that. Because I'm like, man, am I that fucking stupid? Well, compared to computer level 10, I am.
Because if you just crushed Richard every morning in chess, you'd never get anywhere.
Take it easy. He doesn't compete in chess.
Exactly. No, I don't. I just get crushed by the computer.
Yeah.
But I like to be crushed. I don't like it, but I like to be crushed by the computer because it's like, okay, well, there's a fucking road ahead of me to get better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why I do it. It's like, okay, if I don't have that frustration of, I just got fucking drilled. What is this? Dude, think faster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, think faster.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Stop fucking around. Don't let your ego get in the way and think like you're the shit. Just think faster. Okay,
Yeah.
and then now I'm not harsh on myself, but like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Stop letting your ego decide that you think you're good. and then start actually paying attention. The second you think you're good, you stop paying attention. So for me, that's the greatest thing, is that frustration right there. But it shouldn't lower your self-esteem either.
Yeah, yeah.
It is necessary to go through it, and because it makes you think, dude, stop your ego from stopping you from learning, basically.
Yeah.
Stop your ego. So it's good.
What are you know, like most people have to, when they're seeking knowledge or information, they're going to go to, you know, they'll find a person who knows more than them or is further ahead. Who are you learning from at the moment anymore?
Me.
Are you just, now you're just working on yourself with yourself?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I am. I'm on the stage where, like, because they always ask me which book, I'm like, there is no book. I didn't write it. I haven't written it yet. And I'm just like, I've figured out a bunch of it. I was like, just keep pushing it. Mm-hmm. I can do this. I can figure this out. So I'm like, okay, then just get the shit out of your head, out of the way.
Yeah, we watch the most boring videos sometimes. Like, I hear him watching, he's like watching like some dude explaining a mathematical equation. I'm like, how are you not asleep right now, coach? Seriously.
Because it's
like Idris Aberkane was really good.
Yeah.
Idris Aberkane was really good.
Yeah. It's just the quantum mechanics is I'm trying to understand how they go through the frustration of dealing with something they cannot conceptualize. You cannot conceptualize quantum mechanics. It makes, because you never dealt with it. So none of this that makes sense at that level makes sense in real life. That means you cannot conceptualize it. You can't visualize quantum mechanics. The rules are not the same. So how do you deal with something you cannot conceptualize? It's not possible to conceptualize quantum mechanics. If I talk about 11 dimensions, what does that mean? Because it means at that it's so small, like there are dimensions that are so small that they have their own existence in there, but we can't see them because they're too small. So there are other dimensions, we just don't know where they are because they're too small. So you can't visualize any of this by definition, right? Because you don't see it, because the smallest thing you see. But yet they managed to get breakthrough and basically change the world out of things they cannot conceptualize. That fascinates me how they did that. Imagine the frustration they must go through. Mm-hmm. But they solve it through math. So math is their way of looking at the universe, right? And so I'm like, I'm doing right now is I'm basically running my own calculus, my own maps, so that I can figure this out. And so that's what I do.
And I'm like wondering when I'm going to eat next. I'm like, I get hungry. Julian's kind of writing his own calculus, and I'm like, I could use a burger.
But so that's what I'll do most days.
We were talking the other day where like we need to rewrite the entire fitness book. You know, like we took movement down to the binary system of torque, and I was like, we just need to start changing things because doing row pulls and IT is a push, and so now that stuff we're like, okay, it's time to kind of
which actually is Richard who said it, and he was right. He was like, dude, stop using other terms and create your own. I was like, I think we have to start doing that.
Yeah. Do you think like writing it down, having everything in a book or some sort of format? Because I feel like right now you're coming out, you're able to imprint this stuff in people and in communities by doing the seminars, the Coaches Week, the mentoring, all that stuff. But at some point, it needs to be put kind of set in stone.
Yeah, but
I know it's maybe too fluid.
Right now is, first of all, it's fluid, but right now it's too early. Like they'll just shoot me down. Yeah. Because like everything I say, I'm not actually completely crazy. Some of it is true. So it will get in the way of a lot of people's business. Yeah. Or at least it will force them to reconsider certain things. Just like Wim Hof did in his own way. I mean, I'm not Wim Hof, but in his own way, like he forced a lot of the medical community to go like, huh. Mm-hmm. But so imagine at first they're like, no.
But it's taken years.
Yeah, exactly. And at first they were like, no, bullshit. Like that guy who went to, who wrote the book about Wim Hof, went there basically to disprove him, to prove that what he said was bullshit. And so, but Wim Hof told him how to do it. He was like, fuck me, that actually works. But so if I go out like that, it'll just shoot down the messenger. So they'll shoot me down because they won't. It's not there. Like once I've reached a certain level, maybe.
The concern that I would have, I guess, this is just the thing that I've observed. It was, I had done not a lot, I guess, but I had done a fair amount of corresponding with Chris Moore, and one of the things, after he passed, that was one of the things that kind of lit a fire in me to go and be like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna do all this shit, all of it. We're just gonna do it because you can go now. Yep. And had he not, at the very least, gotten maybe just enough of his feelings or enough of his writing out there, it would be very difficult for that to have carried as far as it even already has.
True. That is true.
And because
So you're afraid I'm gonna die soon? That's what you're saying.
No.
Thank you. I feel very comforted.
Not afraid.
If you fuck with the central nervous system
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
wrong
well,
way,
yeah.
you are playing with
I am
fire
getting
there, buddy.
interesting results, but yeah.
But it is one of those things where anything can happen. It would be really unfortunate to because maybe in your head you're closer to some things than you're all putting out there, and it'd be a shame to just have that all go.
That is true. That is very true.
But also, it's probably hard to work on things, develop things, and then also
the problem
get it down.
is, it's just like everything is very always fluid with me because I'm just constantly learning something, and I would have to take so much time
Yes.
to write a book that right now the logistics aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have seminars too often for me. Like I would have to take 3 days and completely block myself to go there and come back for seminars. That means in the meantime the system will not move forward. And right now what drives me forward is to get the answers.
Yeah.
Right now there's a few answers I need
Yeah.
to sleep at. I'm not sleeping at night, but there's a few answers I need about certain things. So I want to figure this out. And once I quiet down and I'm reasonably happy with certain findings, I'll have some. But then we need someone to go on the road with us and to be there and to just start to write down because
Yeah.
I can't spend 6 hours a day writing. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Interesting.
I need my brain works a very very specific way.
Yeah.
It's just that's the way it is. It is what it is. I mean, like it is
Very
what it is.
specific way.
Very
very
specific.
specific.
And so, but if I had someone there that could just write down every time because I'll go. It's 2 p.m. and I'm like, and then I just figure out something, and then that's it for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that's what Richard knows. I'll go quiet because that means something is spinning really hard in my head, and I'm like, oh, I need to figure this out. And then it's like, where's the fucking pen? Then we start writing on the windows, and I'm like, okay, let me figure this out.
Yeah.
How have you two figured out how to? Because you guys are traveling a lot,
Yeah.
and you're staying in the same space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that something that you could have I feel like you can have a good business relationship with somebody, and even that alone would be a stressor. I've traveled with friends. I've traveled with my spouse, but you get.
I'd rather
Man.
travel with him than with Dave.
You have
Same here. It's funny because I'm single and he's like, yeah.
you get a couple weeks in, and you're like, all right, these people need to go home.
Oh, never.
we've
So
been-
you got
Never.
that's never been a thing. So
Ever.
No,
it's come
super
together
easy,
good.
man.
Ever.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
like
Actually,
know,
on the
like,
contrary.
we had like the time we're like, oh, we should go to Mexico. We're like, yeah, let's go to we'll go to Mexico
have time
together.
off.
No, but even like so you
Yeah.
leave for 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Can we go
Yeah.
back on the road and do
Yeah,
shit?
we have a good time. Like I think
Oh,
we
such
get
a good
along.
time, yeah.
Like we don't invade each other's space. So like
Yeah.
he had like
Was
It's
that
just very
was that
easy.
inherent, or was that something that you guys did? You have to?
I mean,
Did you have to
remember-
figure? I suppose you had known each other long enough.
Well, we'd known each other for a while, and then it was like when the whole thing actually came about, he was like, "Yeah, we'll just get Airbnbs," and I was like, "Cool." I was like, "I get to travel through Europe. Like, I'm stoked on life. Who cares?"
No, I always
Yeah.
respected him.
Yeah.
I honestly, no, we
But
never
it's
even talked about it. He's been like, yeah, cool, we'll live together, awesome,
Yeah.
big family, they're
Yeah.
done.
When he needs to go somewhere, like I'll take Yaya. We'll have like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if we like we'll do like today. I have a date night with Daya, and he's
I'll
gonna
take
take
her to the
Yaya
movies and- yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's super mellow.
Yeah, it's very
It's
mellow.
easy.
Yeah, it's never been. We go to
We have a
great
PlayStation
restaurants.
4.
Yeah, we play once in a while, put the VR on and then off we go.
That fucking VR is
Oh, it's
Dude,
gnarly.
it's
fucking
gnarly.
gnarly,
It gets
isn't it?
20 minutes though. That's what I got. And
go
after
to-
that, I'm sick.
Does it get too weird to you?
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
get headache. I mean, I
Oh,
get
dude, I get
nauseous
stressed
after.
the fuck out with that.
Oh,
I
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Ghost
though.
Hunter one.
Yeah.
it drives me. Yes, my thing with the VR stuff is the scary stuff.
Oh,
This-
it's scary,
well,
alright.
because it's so cheap. Like it's a well, you mean if you go to a scary movie, the
Effects, yeah.
thing. You, like if that's on the big screen, you're like, oh fuck you.
Yeah, but
you know what
when
I
it's-
mean?
When it's Resident
when it's
Evil
VR,
on the VR,
and
oh,
you're
mother-
hearing it
yeah,
as
yeah.
you
Yeah.
turn your head, it gets weirder back there and back there,
Yeah,
and
dude.
then
Oh,
and
it's
then
good.
and you can know that it's gonna do it and be like fuck,
Oh, dude.
and it doesn't.
You're like,
you
I don't want to
just
turn.
fly
I
away.
don't want to turn.
Your
I don't want to
stress,
turn.
your stress level goes up. You go like,
There's you can watch a movie and go, these motherfuckers, someone's gonna jump out. This is stupid. But you
Yeah.
put it on the VR, and no matter there's
Dude,
too
it's
much.
different.
did you play Resident Evil yet?
With no.
Oh, put you on it.
Walking into the room, you go like, I'm not
Yeah.
walking into that house. I am.
It
But
is.
the game doesn't let you go anywhere else. I'm like, I don't care. I'm staying right here. I am
I was
not
like,
walking into that house.
Where's
Yeah.
the police right now? This
Yeah,
is
I know.
not where I want
Like,
to
why
be.
is that guy walking funny over there? Why would
Can't
I
we-
go there?
Can't we just go hike the mountains or
Suddenly
something?
you're really smart.
Yeah.
You're like, why would I walk over there with that weirdo is there? In a movie, you go, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
In VR, you're like, I'm not going there.
Or if you're playing it in a video game with your thumbsticks and watching it on TV, you're like, take your gun out. We're fucking running into this thing.
Yeah, no,
And-
dude.
and you're like,
on
"No,
I've been
no,
like,
no,
I've
no."
literally gone like, nope, too stressed. I'm
thank
done.
you.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm going to sleep.
I'm gonna go to bed.
That is
Thank you.
interesting though when you do the VR because it's
You become really smart.
it's like there's just a certain amount of stimulus that then you can no longer avoid. So like
Yeah.
like you can ignore it if it's on a movie, even if you're in a theater.
But then you can hear it on the
But you
VR.
can
You're like,
hear it.
Fuck, what was that?
It's you
Yeah.
can't look away from it. So it's
You know,
just
and then
immersive
the creaky
enough.
floor, you go, oh fuck me.
And
Yeah.
those little details are
Dude.
so overwhelming.
They're killing
People
it.
have to try.
Yeah.
They don't understand how scary it gets. Like Yaya refuses to play.
Yeah.
She saw it on TV.
Yeah,
She's
but
like,
she
I'm not
talks
putting
smack
it on
all the time.
Yeah, she talks shit
She
to you
keeps
while you're
talking,
scared.
She like
yeah.
scares you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's Richard. She's like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not playing
dumb.
that.
She's like, you guys are the dumb ones. I'm not putting
I'm
it
not
on.
doing it.
I'm like, that's not even fair.
That's interesting. I think I think that's like, and I still think it has so far to go, like the VR
It's
stuff.
gonna be.
No, but
tricky.
once you can watch movies like that, it'll
Yeah.
be fucking insane though,
I've-
because you're in it.
Yeah.
Some of the content has potential, but still kind of blows. Like there was one that I saw that was like, the concept was so cool, but they did such a bad job. You were like watching some, you were just like a guy.
The movie? Oh, it was like the first person movie?
Yeah,
or-
but it was really short. It was only like a 5-minute thing. You're just a dude in a garage with like 6 other dudes, and there's some sort of drug deal going on, and then it goes bad, and people are shooting and flying, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And it was a cool sensation, but like the acting was shitty, the
Right.
CGI was
Yeah,
terrible,
but
and
that's
it was
fun,
short.
yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
if someone would make like Avengers level $150 million
But that's where it's
VR
because
movie.
they have first-person movies now.
Yeah.
First-person shooter movies.
I would
so
love that.
That will come to the VR where
Yeah.
you'll have a full movie where you're the guy
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
it'll be insane.
Yeah.
Give it 10 years. You know what I mean, and the shit will be completely insane.
Yeah. You guys are traveling. You have just suitcases full of shit.
Yeah.
23 kilos per hour.
Yeah.
That's what you can carry. So we have
How interesting is that when I travel, it's very common where I'm like, okay, so I'm in this place. Time to buy some shit. And you almost
We've
can't.
gotten
No,
used
we
to
still
not
do
be-
it.
Yeah.
we try
I
not to anymore,
Shoes,
but yeah.
shoes.
Shoes your problem.
Then
When you
he
got
drags
size-
me into it, and
When
I
you
buy
have
some
size
too,
15 shoes,
That's a
you
real
just know
problem.
better because they
Yeah.
take up too much space.
Yeah, but like we went some really
Like
cool
in
places.
London?
Like,
Yeah.
there's that one place in London. I'm like, dude, I'm not walking in today
Yeah.
because I know I'll buy
I'll buy-
something,
yeah.
so I'm not going.
I think the cool thing about it is you also because what you have is now so condensed. You don't have housefuls of shit
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah,
you don't
we
have a garage full
buy-
of stuff.
Like, I won't buy anything that's cheap anymore.
Yeah, so what you
everything
have-
is-
That's
is
very true.
hand-
What
it's
you
like
have
everything's crafted.
Is
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 pairs of some bomb ass shoes.
Yeah.
And like everything you
5 or 6.
7.
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus Christ.
It's half a suitcase.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I do
He
have
has
a
his own
problem.
suit. So I have a suitcase for my shirts,
Yeah.
and my pants and my shoes,
Yeah.
and
But like
shoes like bespoke in Thailand,
yeah.
like
Yeah, the
from
shirts
scratch.
and everything. They're
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
those are
too,
the things though. It's like,
yeah.
all right, well, you don't have it all sunk into fucking 2 BMWs. You've got
Right.
the shit that you have, and you might as well have that be awesome.
Yeah, like now it's just for me it's invest in experiences and create good memories and
Yeah.
so
We've
you
done
know
that.
like I just keep looking at
We
restaurants.
need to
and I'm
document
like,
it better because we had some
Yeah.
cool moments.
Yeah.
We
Like,
need
I
to do a
mean,
better job.
that's all I look at now is like
Yeah.
we're going here, so what's a cool thing that we could do, or what's a good food experience,
Yeah.
what's something that the normal person doesn't get to do. So I want to
Yeah.
try and go that route. Like going to Paris and going to the Eiffel Tower, like that's cool, but that's
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful
I'll
city.
find better.
There's
yeah.
way more.
Yeah.
I'll
there's
find the
better
stuff you
ways
can't
to-
find anywhere else.
Yeah,
So,
so
there's
that's-
certain clubs, certain things.
I
yeah.
mean, I jumped in Dubai. Coach somehow got sick and busy and
I don't blame
did
him.
not want to
I wasn't.
skydive.
No. He got sick, not me.
Oh, huh.
He got sick.
Yeah. That's
No,
what it was.
ask him. He got sick, not me. I haven't jumped yet. But
That
there
was
you
that
go.
was really cool experience.
I with the skydiving stuff, I'm like, there's a weight limit, and I'm always over it. So
Yeah.
it makes that decision for me.
Yeah, because
But
you need
if
a
you're actually-
skinny guy attached
Yeah.
to you in the back.
But if you're fit, you can still do it. Can't
Oh,
you?
I don't
or
know.
are you still way over this?
I'm just gonna tell them I'm not fit.
Dude, they drop like trucks and tanks out of airplanes. I'm sure you'll be okay.
The one they had here that my wife did, and I think the weight limit there was like 270.
Okay.
And I was like, well, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a long road to that. I
Yeah.
don't need to turn into that guy just so I can jump out of a plane.
It's fun, man. It's a good time.
So, what else? Anything else you guys want to get out there today? We're
Yeah, we have 2 hours.
hour 45.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, I mean, next seminar is in France.
We'll be
That's
in
going to
Europe.
be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, we'll be in New York
Yes, I am
at the
sarcastic.
beginning of the year.
End of
where's
January.
where's all your
End of
seminars
January.
listed at? Is that on the website as
Yeah,
well?
it's on
The
the
schedule?
strongfit.com and on the Strongfit page under
Yeah.
events.
Gotcha.
So we're going France, then we're going Vienna, then we're going to Utrecht, so Holland for Coaches Week.
Yeah, London,
Then we have
Sweden,
London, and we have
Switzerland, Germany.
Switzerland, Germany twice.
I think that's the end of it.
And then after that, we're going to Canada. So I'm going to speak
Yeah.
at the Wedapalooza.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to Canada, then we're going to New York.
Yeah.
Then after that, no, we have San Diego too in December.
Oh, San Diego in December.
San Diego in
yes.
December.
With CJ.
Then after that, we have London at the end of January. And right now, that's as far as we're booked, I think. No, we have stuff in
Right.
February too, I think.
I think so. I think it goes into March. I think we're into the open.
Because
So
then when the open, so the open
When you
is
talk,
the
where
rest.
you're out into February of next year, is that fully booked between now and
Yep.
then? Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like we try to not overbook it, but then somehow we got where I think we're working like 4 weeks almost in a row. We had like weekends off and
Yeah.
then like a week off.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're
It's a
trying to
bit
do
too
like
much,
It
but-
becomes a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
it gets
yeah.
tiring. So it's like seminar coaches week, then like a full 7 days off, and then seminar coaches week.
Yeah,
Because
that's, we have to do that.
at the beginning of
otherwise-
this year we worked.
like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
for
it just it takes away your training. It takes away everything
Yeah.
because you're just like
even the fun of like
Of
at
being
the end I
with
was
places.
so tired we didn't visit the city. I was just
Yeah.
dude, I need to
I just want to
crash
relax.
and
Yeah.
it's Coaches Week is taxing because
Yeah.
it's 10 people but it's that constant attention,
And it's constantly.
constantly on.
Yeah, there's no. But that's what I noticed with this is we're not like. There's a few things where you're giving just straight out instruction,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times it's, we'll throw something at you and now you have to very clearly and concisely
Yeah.
explain that on
Yeah.
the
But,
fly.
that's the point, which
Yeah.
I'm very happy to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
It seems like I'd be like very very mentally like jello by the end of a day like that. I'd be like,
Yeah,
"God, I'm so
pretty
tired of
much.
answering
But then
questions
I get
and
the
trying
tw-
to do it the right way.
Yeah, but then I got a 12-year-old going, daddy, 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 and I'm like, oh, I gotta go take care of her now.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so but it's, I couldn't be happier. And then we have the coaching mentoring program going on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're going to start the owners mentoring program as well. And so that's more work on top of it because then we have
Yeah.
the Q&As, we have all the stuff, and then we're trying to, I need to be better at doing the vlogs again.
Yeah.
And so those days turn into like weeks really, really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't
Which is
imagine.
great, by the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. It's the best life. I'm
Yeah.
not complaining. My life is better than I ever dreamed it would be.
Yeah. Good problems are still problems though. They got to be managed. So, you know what I mean?
But they're all doing a great job at it.
Yeah.
Honestly, right now I'm mostly just focusing on, like the identity of Strongfit, and
Yeah.
they handle most of the stuff.
Yeah.
I really don't do that much.
That's good.
Yep.
Proper delegation.
Always.
Oh, he does most of
That's
the.
what Big Richard's for,
I'm
right?
the why. Richard is the how. He
Yeah.
deals with all the hows. I just do the why.
Yeah. And he does it all with a tremendous hairline.
I try.
That he
might
does.
add.
You know,
That he
I
does.
try.
And the smile. And the smile. Don't forget the smile.
Richard's got the flyest hair in all of fitness.
Exactly.
It's got to be good. It's
That's
gotta
what
be
the
good.
waitress at the restaurant next to the gym said.
Yeah.
Latino
That is
Clark
true.
Kent. Hashtag Latino Clark
Exactly.
Kent.
Or
Mexican
Mexican Clark
Clark.
Kent.
Mexican Johnny Bravo.
Mexican.
I've
Mexican
gotten that
Johnny
one.
Bravo.
I got called Mexican Johnny Bravo 4 times when I was in London in one day. I was like, is this a conspiracy?
It's kind of a nice.
happening?
Yeah.
I had like a good little poof going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call
It
them
happens.
Mexicans. but
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, they can find everything that you guys got. Also, you guys sell sandbags, ropes, have the Optimus line.
That
Yeah.
we do.
What else is sold on the? Is that about it
We're
for
gonna have shirts
stuff?
coming up.
Yeah, what the
and
fuck?
Harness.
Yeah, I know.
They're coming.
Daya is on it now.
We're
saw
working on it.
One of the gals at Coaches Week had a Strongfit shirt. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I need one of those. And then I went on the website. And I'm like, these
Damn
motherfuckers.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll start getting them.
You have to earn them.
No,
I guess.
Coach is very meticulous about what he wants.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the problem is if we're not here, we can't see the quality of the shirt,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it becomes a
That
pain in the
upsets
ass.
me.
And also, it's tough to the quality of the shirt. You almost have to hold a sample.
Yeah.
And if you're
You
not
have to-
if you're not anchored somewhere,
That's the
it's
problem
tough.
because I know there's only 2 shirts I know for sure. So I'm like, well, it has to be one of those 2. It's like,
Yeah.
well, what I want? Like, I don't know because I didn't try it.
Yeah, we do the
So,
same thing.
yeah,
with,
it has to be.
It's not uncommon for us. Like we ordered like some women's shirts, and that shit's hard to like.
Like size.
Well, it's hard to guess.
Same, man.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
we
but if
went,
it's not the way I want, we're not selling
yeah.
it.
So
it's gonna
we
sit somewhere.
we went
so.
through like 4 samples before we found a women's shirt that
Yeah.
the women we had try it on were like, oh, I like this.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
the
see, I
first
don't want
4
that.
were
Yeah,
like, fuck
exactly.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and imagine
Yeah.
if we just went with it.
Exactly. That's what worries me.
And
so
you
I much
sold
rather,
the shirts,
Yeah.
but they'd have been pissed.
Yeah, and that's
you know?
worse.
Yeah. So
That's worse.
I feel your pain there, man.
Yeah, I know. That's
But it's
That's
all
a
coming.
funny
It's all
thing.
coming.
The absolutely never lucrative T-shirt industry.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're not doing this for the money. That's for sure. Yeah, the T-shirts is just so people can have the
everybody
strong
gets
fit.
them.
But the problem with travel so much too is like, where do you send the samples?
Yeah.
By the time they send it, we're gone already. so-
T-shirts are basically like hopefully revenue neutral advertising.
Exactly.
Is your
Yeah.
best
That's
bet.
exactly what
But
we
It
look
makes
at.
people happy.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Well, I
Right.
can't thank you guys enough. They can find you.
Pleasure.
Where can they find you on social media, Richard?
I'm a rare barracuda.
There you go, Rich.
RAREBARRACUDA.
And if you're not
On
following
Instagram.
Richard on Instagram,
You
you
should.
I'll be
are
really sad.
fucking
Exactly.
I'll put
You
some funny
should.
stuff up.
Yeah.
I'll do some. I'll
Pour
pump
yourself out,
something,
Richard.
yeah.
Go.
Come
And go
on.
get those followers.
up. And Julien, how can they find you?
Strongfit 1.
Okay. And also, like I said, everything they've got is on strongfit.com as well. I'm Tyler. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF I and Stone. Tanner runs the official Massenomics page at Massenomics. I'm going to rattle off a few things I need you to do. I need you to go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, please. Also go to youtube.com/Massenomics. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Also, make sure you like Massenomics on Facebook. And I think I'm all out of shit to hustle. Go to Massenomics.com. You're going to
doing that.
yeah, go to Massenomics.com. You're going to find our store there. There you can click the shop button. You're going to find our new
He's
lift
a
shirt,
hustler.
hat, all that other stuff. Also, you're going to find all our podcast archives and all of our stored articles.
I
I
like
think
it.
that's going to do
Look
it
how
for
nice
today.
you sound.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done that before.
It's like
done
an
it.
auction
Oh
here,
man,
dude.
yeah,
I've done
it's
it
good
like-
now.
I've done it like 71 times.
Obviously,
Awesome.
I can tell.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot for listening, guys. You guys, I can't thank you enough for your time. I
Pleasure.
really appreciate it. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.